Sakura, Sky, and Loki.
Since the last show, Amplitude was funded, but it's not all good news as Harmonix announced a round of layoffs shortly following the campaign's end. In this final week before E3, Nintendo breathes new life into Gamecube controllers. Get out your Wavebirds and join us for the show where every gamer has a voice.
Orange Lounge Radio.
Hello, my friends out there on the internet, and welcome back to another week of the show where every gamer has a voice. It is Orange Lounge Radio. With this, our 554th episode for June the 1st of 2014. We're here with you over the next few hours to talk about video games, gaming culture, and the gamer lifestyle with myself, Rob Roberts, and my co-host, back after a week off. We'll get into that in a little bit. Say hello once again to Dark Sakura, or Jamie Summers.
Hi.
How are you, Dark Sakura, or Jamie Summers?
I'm okay. Or well.
You're well? Good. Good. Did you have a good week off last week?
It was all right.
Yeah? A good Memorial Day weekend as a whole?
It was all right.
It was very restful. I don't know, at least I thought so.
There were too many people at my house on Monday.
Oh, did you guys have like a barbecue pinball-a-thon thing?
Yeah, I hid.
Aw. Did you at least get Midna? Pick up Midna and run in the other room?
Middles and I hung out for a bit, but it reiterated my pleasure at my barrenness. I'm glad I don't have kids. I'm glad I will never have kids. And I'm glad that other people can take their kids and leave.
It's okay to love kids for other people's kids, or, your own, whatever you're into. But
I don't ever want one.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I have been spending the week in gratitude.
But there are, mothers and fathers to pets out there, which I think you certainly fall in that category.
Midna doesn't talk back. She meows and begs for food. She doesn't run around knocking over my expensive Japanese dolls, nor does she walk around saying that things belong to her when they don't. The worst thing she does is sometimes sheds on the bed and claws Dan's chair. That's it.
Speaking of pinball, I see Bobby in the chat room, our old pal Bobby Blackwolf, over at live.vognetwork.com. Blackwolf says, Jamie, I played a Metallica pinball table last week. It was euphoric.
I'm glad you like it.
I haven't played Metallica pinball. That sounds
It
awesome.
was pretty fun. I played it at California Extreme last year.
Good times.
It was really good. Very loud.
All right, also say hello, everybody, to Techmaster Loki.
Hello.
How are you doing, Loki?
Fine.
Played any pinball lately?
No.
Oh, what have you been up to?
It's programming.
Yeah?
It's the same stuff. We're having a conversation in the chat room about the music in Watch Dogs, and seriously, some perfect songs that were just missed out in licensing in the game. Apparently, it has really terrible licensed music. But I said, hey, they should have totally licensed Who Let the Dogs Out, because that would have been appropriate for that. And then that was followed up with, Dungeon Master said, sorry, not even Rockwell, somebody's watching me.
I was just going to say somebody's watching me.
That would be awesome, but no, apparently, no, we don't have any humor that, would contribute to the game.
Some of the songs might be a little bit more expensive, too. I'm sure if the soundtrack is subpar, it was probably some cheap licenses. Who knows?
But if they can afford the license Who Let the Dogs Out for every single Disney movie that features a dog, I'm pretty sure, recent Disney movies that feature a dog, I'm pretty sure that they could, do this.
Yeah. All right. Also say hello, folks in studio, joining us once again, filling up the fourth chair as he does for a few weeks at a time. He leaves a few weeks at a time. He's back a few weeks at a time. Say hello, everybody, to Jason.
Throw your wave buds in the air.
Wave him around like you just don't care.
13 years old, ladies and gentlemen. Melee and the birth of the GameCube controller being significant happened 13 years ago. And we're going to probably get another 5 years at least out of them with the recent announcement.
Yeah.
Which we will cover later.
Of course. So you've been breaking out the GameCube and getting down with some GameCube games lately?
I don't own a GameCube. I actually never did.
What?
I missed that one outright.
What?
I had to rely on.
I think I have
people.
an extra you can borrow.
I was going to say, I think we have two as well. You missed out.
Well, I didn't. I didn't play it at home. I just played it at other people's houses and whatnot.
I still to this day think Animal Crossing on GameCube was the best one because it had the free virtual console, essentially. There's like 20 old school games tucked away in that game. That's a powerful little disc.
Also F-Zero.
Yes, F-Zero GX. the world F-Zero GX just kind of stands on its own.
Yeah.
It's so flipping good. There's all these rumors as we're ramping up to E3 week. There's all these rumors that GameCube games may become backwards compatible on the Wii U, at least the whole virtual console or whatever. Anything you would want to check out if that should happen?
I don't know that there's anything that there's nothing that I know I have missed out on and have not had an opportunity to play. But it's still a Wii inside there. GameCubes, like the pins in the 3DS, I think it was. The GameCube lockout is a technical band-aid and not a true compatibility issue, anything like that. Right. People have unlocked the ability to play GameCube in the Wii channel.
That's true. That's true.
And I think there's some FUD about, the slot loader isn't geared for the smaller GameCube discs, which is technically true, maybe.
I think there's an email on this a little later on that we'll get into as well.
Well, then I'll shut my mouth for another
it's fine.
hour
It's fine. A little teaser there before we get into the email segment. But I was gonna say there was certainly a lot of GameCube games that could be kind of rediscovered again. And I would think with the impending Smash Brothers game coming out, there's the old Smash Brothers from GameCube that many people still consider the best one that they've done so far. That I think a lot of people will be very thrilled to kind of play all over again, so to speak, especially if they somehow tweaked online into it, which I know we kind of go LOL Nintendo and online. But Mario Kart this week, and we'll get into this a little later, but Mario Kart this week kind of showed like, all right, we can do this. Let's do it.
Have classic games actually been changed when they've been brought into the Virtual Console?
Not a lot, and when it happens, it's really like weird and obscure. One that comes to mind is the Genesis version of Street Fighter 2. Apparently had it on the Wii, and it's because, and I didn't even realize this, I guess the Genesis Street Fighter 2 had code in it for the whole modem thing, so they kind of leveraged that to work online. I don't even know all the details because I never bought it, but apparently, yes, some of them have been altered in that way. And, I know Nintendo did like the Dr. Luigi, which you can play online, and kind of taking some of the old classics and buffing them up like that. So it's just a matter of resources. How many resources is Nintendo willing to allocate to that to make it happen. So
interesting. Yeah, because I haven't bought into the Wii U yet, there's just a lot of details that I just don't get firsthand. And it's all, I'm going to get one eventually. Like I mentioned on a previous show, I'm going to step into new consoles eventually. My life has changed, and money is different nowadays, and especially when you're not even home for more than 2 months at a time.
Something to consider, since we're talking about the whole like Nintendo and online and all this, and we'll talk a little more about Mario Kart 8 in our gaming weeks. At least I know I want to talk a lot about that. But with Mario Kart 8 coming out, it's an online game, and online is a pretty big component because once you've kind of unlocked everything and done the single player and unlocked everything you can there's really not a lot left except to go online and race your friends and things like that, right? It's kind of amazing if you think about it. Almost every game that comes out that has an online component just craps out on day one. Mario Kart 8 is working. It's still working. It worked all weekend. It's great. Now, I know some of you are going to say, but the Club Nintendo Redemptions, that whole thing crapped out.
Even I, like, not being a Mario Kart player or Wii U, or even I saw that the Club Nintendo was screwed up this weekend.
But to be fair, you still have, 60 days to redeem. You have a long time to redeem those codes. It's fine. That'll resolve itself out. And that's honestly not the most important thing. I would think. I don't know. Maybe for some people it is. I was able to redeem my free game, just persistence. I just kept trying, and eventually it worked. But I would imagine if you bought Mario Kart 8 because you really wanted to play free Zelda, then you would have just bought Zelda, right? So I'm thinking...
No, because... If you buy a game that it's the we had this discussion a couple of weeks ago. It was the Halo 3 argument. A lot more people bought Crackdown to try Halo. Because Crackdown was a good game. It was an interesting game. But the people that were devoutly interested in Halo got Crackdown for Halo.
Yes, I'm with you to a point. Like, I get that point.
And Mario Kart is a very good game if you're even remotely into racing games. And but people will buy a game that they personally are okay with to get a free game they really want.
But I would argue that Mario Kart 8 is easily better than any of those games they're giving away. Easily. It's probably the second best game out on the Wii U right now.
Well, there's new Super Mario Brothers isn't bad.
No, not at all. Not at all. But Mario Kart 8 is the second best game out on the Wii U right now, and the best Wii U game that is out right now is not one of the ones they're giving away, and that's Super Mario 3D World. So
It depends on what you're into.
Yeah, I guess so. But my point was, before we got on that tangent, my point was, for all practical purposes, where I feel it's the most important, the online functionality of the game, it's working and it's working well.
And it uses friend codes if you want to actually
No.
join a specific
No.
I was hearing something.
The tournaments use codes, but that's one way to get into them.
Right.
You can also get into tournaments through, I think, like you can have them be public, searchable, friends only, but the codes
Private.
are right.
Private rooms you need an identifier.
You have to
for.
realize the term friend code gives a lot of people PTSD. Okay, Nintendo. In all fairness, Nintendo's making steps forwards, not backwards.
Yeah, hold on.
With online.
Okay, yes. With online.
Huge step forward.
With online. And this could have been the perfect Mario Kart game, except for one really stupid oversight.
I have a feeling. All right, what is it?
What the fuck were they thinking with battle mode?
Yeah, I knew it. Yeah.
Seriously, it's like, how fucking hard is it just to follow the pattern it's established in every single Mario Kart game? Hey, let's try something different. Nobody fucking wants different. They want battle mode arenas, not battle mode. I'm too fucking lazy to make a new track, so I'm just going to make this old track into a battle mode. It's stupid.
I have a feeling it came down to, and I'm not excusing it because battle mode is a weak point in Mario Kart 8, and it's part of the reason I'm not saying it's the best Wii U game, although it is a great Wii U game and an absolute reason to own a Wii U right now. But in all fairness, the battle mode is a step backwards compared to the previous games. I wonder if it didn't come down to performance. Not that I'm excusing that, but I noticed there were some other interesting decisions made in the game that seemed to come down to a performance issue where it had to run HD really smooth, really pushing that hardware. And I wonder if for some reason the battle mode that we all want wasn't possible. But then again, it might show up as DLC later. Who knows?
I just don't buy that. I think because those tracks are really small. I mean, if they want it, I mean, look at how they had battle mode on the Nintendo 64. I mean, those tracks were pretty simple, and there wasn't much going on. They don't really have to make it too like flashy and glitzy and stuff. Just make it a fucking track that's fun to play. Hell, you could take the old retro things and just kind of go with that. The
boxes with the lanes, and
or
all
just
those kind of
hey,
things.
you want to do something really cool, like have a Mobius strip type arena or something like that. I don't know.
Lots of comments from our chat room on what Loki's saying here. And Dark Tetsuya starting things off saying, oh, here comes Loki. And yes, all these comments coming from our chat room, live.vognetwork.com, because we do tape Orange Lounge Radio live every Sunday night at the Voice of Geeks Network, vognetwork.com, right after the Bobby Blackwolf show at 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern. Tiger Claw saying, Mario Kart is the type of game that you can bring in people who never played a racing game in their life into the genre and have fun. You don't have to be a pro to enjoy Mario Kart. I agree. That's part of the reason why I like Mario Kart and like Forza Horizon and some of the more arcade. Blur, I thought was a hugely underrated title. A lot of those arcadey style races, I think, are a lot of fun. Gene in chat says, I haven't played a battle mode since Nintendo 64, and that was for about 10 minutes. Wyland says, how else will they justify Battle Arena DLC? ActDeft wonders, do people play battle mode extensively? Dark Tetsuya says, I'll give it to Loki on battle mode, but I don't really play the mode myself, so it's not something I'll miss. And ActDeft saying, most of the time I play Mario Kart with friends is races.
I used to play battle mode like crazy. So that's the thing.
I have to admit, yeah, I mean, like when it came to especially the Super Nintendo and N64 versions, like battle mode was played way more than the races.
Yeah, the racing's fun, and that's fine. They have the racing built in there, but I mean, here's the thing: don't include it then if you're not going to put effort into it. If it's just something that you want to do, just omit it. Then people get pissed off, but still, it's better than just half-assing it.
I still think what they've got's a little better than that, but I agree that it is a little bit missed that classic battle mode isn't there. But it's, for me, honestly, Loki, it's a small blemish on an otherwise great game because when it comes down to it, those races are fantastic.
Yeah,
fantastic.
I don't doubt that they are, but I'm just like, that's the problem. It's like they had it, they could have easily had it perfect, but they just didn't. They half-assed that part, and that's what's really sad. It's like, I don't know if it's a time thing or what.
We'll come back to Mario Kart 8 later because I want to talk about this during my gaming week, and we'll talk about all the other games the folks here in studio have been playing. But we weren't here last week, and I do want to apologize because usually I try to warn you guys in advance if we're going to not have a show, and I didn't do that a couple weeks ago. That's because the cancellation of last week's show was a little bit more sporadic. I ended up taking a last-minute road trip for Memorial Day, and it was something very spur of the moment. And to be honest, I don't really regret it because it was a great break, and I needed it, and I hope everybody got a great break last week. And when you really kind of go back and look at it, 3-day weekends.
Except Bobby, we love you for holding the fort.
Yes, we do. But 3-day weekends, and Bobby would probably agree with this, 3-day weekends are usually our lowest participating times because, between Labor Day and Memorial Day, and we probably won't have a show Labor Day weekend either, but that has more to do with Dragon Con. But there will... 3-day weekends, people are either out of town, and then we have a lot of people that listen to the show on Monday at work. Well, there was no Monday at work for many people last week, so I'm sure some of you were looking forward to it and missed it, but I think the last time, honestly, I was looking into it, the last time we took a show off was when I went to BlizzCon in November. So 1 week, you guys, 1 week every once in a while is all right. Game of Thrones does 10 episodes a year, and y'all obsess. So I think it's okay that we take 1 week off because trust me, guys, a lot goes into this show, not just what you hear. And so take a week off was nice. But I hope my co-hosts and everybody else had a great Memorial Day weekend. But we are back this week to talk about what's going on in gaming news. Now, since we haven't had a week off in a while, we haven't gotten to do this segment in a while, but the news still goes even when we don't have a show. So it's time to do last week's news. Set-to-holic. So let's do last week in gaming news. Last week in gaming news, some more information on Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U, including the return of Ike to the game. Also, a new GameCube-style controller ended up being announced for the system, which we'll get into a little more later, because I think last week it was more rumor, this week it became fact.
Not necessarily. The one that they're talking about is the one from PDP that works like a classic controller. It plugs into the bottom of a Wii remote.
Well, that thing got blown out of the water this week, and we'll get into more of that later. Also, some news on Hyrule Warriors. Team Ninja is helping out with the game, and Japan's going to be getting the game on August 14th. Some of the characters for Hyrule Warriors were displayed, and let's just say it's obvious that Team Ninja is having a part in the game.
Yeah.
There's a Nintendo patent out there that some folks speculate is Wii Music 2. I don't know why, but that's apparently going to be a thing, so we'll see what happens. Also, the Amplitude Kickstarter, it happened. It was funded last week. They made $844,000 plus. This was thanks to support from Insomniac and other gaming companies. They announced some other artists in the game as well. Also, Night Trap HD, a thing that might be in the works. The Gauntlet game dated September 3rd, and the Oculus Rift coming to Chuck E. Cheese, apparently. Yes, a virtual ticket grab redemption thing. Oculus Rift and Chuck E. Cheese coming together to bring that. We were talking about that a little bit before the show. Somebody was saying it's Futurama coming to life. Was that you, Jason, saying it's Futurama's happening?
Yeah, there was a second or third season where they went to, I believe it was the moon. It may have been Mars, but the cast of crew was walking through the arcade, and there was
That's the very first episode. Or no, second episode.
Was it seriously?
There's the second episode. The very first delivery that they went was to the moon, and he got all excited about it because he was going to go to the moon.
And it was a theme park.
Yeah.
So they had skee-ball, they had virtual skee-ball, and virtual skee-ball. We're only one step away.
It's an interesting development for the Oculus technology. There's a part of me that's like, but nothing compares to standing in that little tornado room and trying to grab like all the money. Usually it was like Monopoly money or tickets or whatever, and grabbing all that you can. Like, that's a fun experience. Like, that seems like the Oculus would really kind of take away from that. But at the same time, because it is new technology, not a lot of people have really got to explore yet. It does sound kind of neat in that regard. Is the Oculus technology safe for kids, though? Like, I know I'm probably going to get side eye for suggesting that, but the reason why I asked that is that I know the 3DS contains all these warnings for kids.
You
so
really
is
want
Oculus
to have
okay?
that kind of expensive technology at a place where kids have pizza smeared all over their face and on their Can you imagine how clean that Rift thing is going to?
Remember when they had like the Beachhead 2000 machines at Golfland and stuff like that, where you could like lower that thing on your head, and the sumo and all these. I kind of think
sumo. What was that?
That was the giant Pokeball you would sit in. I don't know why that came to mind, but it did. But anyway. My thought is it might be like a Beachhead 2000 machine where it's more like you lower this big helmet onto your head that would have the Oculus technology. Like it's not going to be like a loose a loose thing. Come on, they'd lose that in an instant. I'm pretty sure it's going to be part of a larger machine.
I don't think it's going to be a big draw. The Chuck E. Cheese. I mean, honestly, I don't know. The ticket machine thing is just kind of. It is what it is. It's just like the little kids get excited about it.
Yeah.
I mean, how old are you really going to be to have a party at Chuck E. Cheese? You're not going to be that old.
They don't even let adults in there by themselves. You have to be there for a birthday party or.
You have to have a child as your chaperone.
You have to be you have to have a child to chaperone. Yeah, that's a real thing.
That's how they do it at Fairy Tale Town.
Yeah, there's a lot of like kid-oriented places that do that, which I understand. There's creepers that they want to keep out, but what about those of us that just kind of want to act like a kid? We used to love to go to Chuck E. Cheese in college.
So that's when I'll borrow Julian.
Let's put it this way. I mean, if you
can we borrow one of your kids, Loki, to go to Chuck E. Cheese?
Josh
Loki's
like, Chuck E. Cheese.
Loki's like, fuck yeah, take him off my hands.
But like, here's the thing: like, the only thing that's good about Chuck E. Cheese is, and I assume this is all of them, but they made it really simple now. Everything is one token to play. Any arcade game is one token.
That's good.
It really sucks that they don't have any dancing games because that'd be fucking. I would be there all day. One token. Fuck yeah.
Now
I'd be here for a long time.
You know what's really ironic about that? The Barcade out in Denver, the one up, same exact principle.
I noticed it was interesting. I was talking a lot about Scandia here in Sacramento the past couple weeks because they got all these music games, and I suddenly took interest in going to Scandia. And actually, like the 2DX machine, 2 tokens. Poppin' music, 2 tokens. Like I was like, wow, this is really on the cheap compared to what I remember 10 years ago.
I wish they had those nickel arcades still. Remember when they used to have those, like Nickel City and stuff?
You know what's funny? Nickel Mania, one of those places that they used to have out in Roseville. I remember going. It's like a golf cart shopping store now, if it's even still there. For all I know, they bulldozed it and built a freaking Walmart on top of it or something. But this place called Nickel Mania had one of those machines that you got in and you grabbed as much Monopoly money as possible. And I don't remember why. I guess they had a ticket counter or something. But I also remember they had Mortal Kombat. We used to go there to play Mortal Kombat all the time.
Really terrible combination with the ticket grabber and Mortal Kombat inside there at the same time. But I applaud their creativity.
That was also the only place I ever got to play Time Killers. Was that the one? Was that what it was? Where you had the buttons with like head, limb, and like you would keep hitting limb over and over, and you'd like hack off the person's limb. Is that what the game was called?
I don't know.
It was like Time Killers or something like that because all the characters were from different. Like, say, somebody in chat will know. But yeah, I used to play that in Nickel Mania all the time. Those Nickel arcades are awesome. Don't they still have some of those in the Bay Area? I think they do.
They used to have them in the Bay Area, and we actually had one. The last one I remember was up in Old Sac, actually. They had one there, and they had a Pump It Up machine there. But that was about it, and it was really lame because I went there right when they opened, and it was just like, and they just have a pump, and that's it. There's like a few games I'll play. It was just Pump. Mm-hmm. But that was the first time I played Pump, so that was pretty fun.
Good times. All right, let's get into an Alan Alchemy confirming what I was thinking in chat. It's agreeing, yes, that is Time Killers. Thank you. I just remember there was a guy in it that kind of looked like he was a character from Golden Axe, like the little guy that actually had the Golden Axe. Like there was a guy like him in it, and he'd like lob off people's arms and stuff. It was gross, but it was fun. It was all cartoony, so it wasn't like real life like Mortal Kombat was.
So what you're saying is Thrill Kill got reclaimed into an arcade cabinet and was completely under the radar.
And since it was a cartoon, it was okay.
I think we should, since we're talking about fighting games, we should commission the folks behind Dominique Pamplemousse to do a new Clay Fighters game. Because... And honestly, and I got to be honest here, I have no expectations for characters. So if you want to do like Blob of Clay 1 and Blob of Clay 2, I'm totally fine with that.
All right, well, let's call Seg up and see what he thinks.
Exactly.
So, I know he didn't program it, but he's got connections. Why not?
I mean, it was a claim. I don't know who owns the rights to that game anymore, so who knows?
Clay Fighters? Who did make that game?
Acclaim did it.
Yeah, Acclaim.
So I don't know who has it now.
I don't know. Somebody probably bought it on auction for nickels and dimes, so... I don't know, maybe.
Change that they had from a nickel arcade.
Who knows? All right, let's get into our gaming weeks and the types of video games that we've been playing this week.
One more note.
Oh, yeah.
In July 2010, Go Interactive in Seoul, Korea, purchased all IP related with... Oh, actually, no, that's not everything. Throwback Entertainment in Canada seems like a likely candidate to own.
Interesting.
Clay Fighter anymore.
Well, I thought for Clay Fighters or like all of Acclaim stuff, because I know that like Warner has a lot of the Acclaim stuff.
Most, but not all.
Like
But
they have Mortal Kombat and
are-
Gauntlet.
I thought-
oh, that's Midway. Never mind. I get my companies mixed up again.
Didn't Acclaim just publish it, or?
Oh, it was
it
Interplay.
Interplay?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, was it? That's-
Whatever. Yeah, developers, publishers. I can't remember. I mean, that shit was so fucking old. At least I got half of it right.
And you never know which one of them really owned it either.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the developers have to find the publisher. Sometimes the publisher's contract developer. It just depends.
I mean, these were screens that I just kind of glazed over while I was waiting for the theme song to kick in. So.
Do you have fond memories of Clay Fighters, Dark Sakura? I know you were a fighting game girl. Did you ever play Clay Fighters?
I did. I would always play Bad Mr. Frosty
Yes.
and Helga were my two.
That's
I always liked Bad Mr. Frosty just because I liked hearing the announcer say Bad Mr. Frosty.
Like the blob.
You've been a very bad Mr. Frosty. All right, this might be it, guys. It is live radio, so I have to do live YouTubes, but
It was Ocean, huh?
this also could be a Europe piece of art we're seeing here.
No, that's the right music.
I was going to say, I
That
don't
game was
remember
awesome.
vocals, but then again, I also don't remember
I remember the
music in
vocals.
game
See, that's
at all.
what I want to see. I want to see
Oh.
the treatment that.
The Super Nintendo version had the vocals in it. That's part of what made it so awesome. Like that and
Yeah.
Killer Instinct had like I think in Killer Instinct it was just this woo-hoo-hoo, an Orchids theme, but
Yeah.
it was still like something you didn't hear on Super Nintendo at the time.
Graham Norgate re-released that soundtrack on Bandcamp.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, Graham, and has like slightly extended versions and a couple remixes, that kind of stuff. GrahamNorgate.bandcamp.com, that and Time Splitters and I don't remember the other ones, but there's a lot of really good stuff on his page.
All right, well, we could reminisce about fighting games all night, and we just might, but we're going to start with our gaming week. Stark Sakura, how was your gaming week?
It's been kind of uneventful just because it's been kind of a weird week for me. I've had a lot going on. I have sadly not gotten a chance to play any more Bravely Default. I did play more Animal Crossing because it's easy to do during lunch. I played some Final Fantasy 14 and finally got to go on a treasure hunt that I could contribute to instead of just tagging along and getting, maybe casting a spell here or there and then maybe getting a little bit of XP out of it. But yeah. So I still, though, need someone to run me through whatever that one that I can never remember the name of, but I call it the double Ds.
Dazmil Darkhold.
Yeah. I still need someone to run me through that one because I'm trying to pull the same thing I did with my WoW character. And that's, not pug a damn thing until I'm ready to start pugging things after I've already hit endgame.
Okay.
I didn't pug anything until I tried to earn a pug.
The nice thing is in 14, it's really, and WoW really kind of fixed itself too, to be fair. A lot of MMOs are kind of going this direction where, yes, they're massively multiplayer online games, but, some people do kind of want to do their own thing and then have the chat room with swords on the side, which is a perfectly acceptable playstyle. So the nice thing about 14 is that, you can group up to do those things, and it sounds like you want to touch each thing once, but you can get through a lot of it just by doing leaves and, at least leveling. Now, you're not going to get through the main story unless you do some of the group up content, but at least you can do that once in a while.
I've got about maybe a fifth of my current level to go, and then I can start doing story quests again because I actually really like the story in the game.
It gets really good at the end too,
and I'm up almost at 46, which is where my next story bit is.
You get into the really good stuff. The only problem is you start getting these big level gaps where it's like, now you can't do anything till 48, and it's, God damn
Dear
it.
game, bite my ass.
Yeah, that part's gonna suck.
Sincerely, me.
But the story's great.
P.S. Give me a taco. No. I had tacos last week, by the way.
Congrats.
They were amazing. And I did, though, and we will be touching on this later, I did buy the RPG Humble Bundle. Because I've been looking for a way to do RPG style comics, like RPG text. And I think instead of going the Flash route so that they are playable on an iOS device, is I'm going to program them into RPG Maker and then record them.
Nice.
So that they are just teeny movies.
That's a neat use of it, because I didn't really think about, you could do other things than just make games necessarily.
Yeah, but I have ideas for something. It's right now kind of in the idea phase. Okay. So hopefully I'll have time for it. But
at least you've got your canvas now.
At least I have my canvas, exactly.
There you go. Awesome. All right. Well, let's move on over to Loki, who, speaking of canvas, I think he's been busy working on his new games. I don't know if you've played anything else, but what's up, Loki?
Yeah, I did play one thing. I played No Breaks Valet last night because I bought that for my Android, just because I was trying to show. Josh was looking at. There was like some cars or something in this book we were looking at, and I'm like, yeah, that reminds me of this game, like No Breaks Valet. I'm all, you totally love it. It's cars crashing into each other. So I'm like, okay, watch this. And so I downloaded it. Well, first off, I was surprised that they had it for Android, and they have it, and it's actually way better than the Wii-U version. Although I don't know if they updated the Wii-U version, but it's got more, more tracks and different cars, and it's a lot fancier. But still fun and a good time waste. So I played that, but that was pretty much all I played this week. I'm still working on game stuff because I've been trying to optimize some of my models in the game. And I tried it one way, and it didn't work like I wanted it to, so I'm trying it another way now. And hopefully that one will work, although it's I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to do it because it gets complicated with rotations and stuff. Anyways, so I'm trying to get past all that stuff so I can get to the actually making some models because that'll be fun. And that was pretty much it. Now I got a copy of Watch Dogs, but I haven't played it yet. So they gave me one for doing something at work.
Oh, nice.
Quickly, it's like, yeah, I need a favor for you. If you do this, I'll give you a Watch Dog. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So just haven't got a chance to play it yet, but it looks fun. I really just, I'm not sure if I want to start it because, I only have so much free time and I kind of want to focus on programming stuff and not playing games right now. We'll see.
All right. Jason, why don't you go next? How was your gaming week?
It was actually pretty interesting. My office now also has a Wii U. They got it principally for Mario Kart. But at the same time, for some reason it didn't come in on Friday, so I suppose I'll be playing it this coming week instead. But there was new Super Mario Brothers Wii U and Super Mario 3D World, so I actually got to sit down and I played the entire first world of that game. And then more Titanfall as well, and I think that's pretty much it at a high level. But there was something kind of funny. A coworker had just finished setting up, playing the Wii U, updating it, all that kind of stuff, and he was playing New Super Mario Bros. U, and I was playing Titanfall, and I just kind of looked over at the other TV, and the Wii U's graphics were rich, vibrant, colorful, primary, and just fun. And then I turned back to Titanfall, and it's dark, mechanic, gritty. It was, there was of course a granularity argument because I was playing a first-person shooter, comparing it to a 2D platformer, 2D side-scrolling game. But it was just like, we all know this kind of thing, but it just really smacked me because the two TVs are side by side right there, and I just kind of take even a second, look over. It's like, that's really warm and inviting. Well, I guess I have to go shoot this guy over here. It was just an odd comparison because I don't usually see those situations of things being side by side like that. As invariably a lot of you have seen me posting about on Twitter, I have like 30 clips from Titanfall that are relatively interesting to me, and I really want to hold on to them, but going through and uploading them one by one is a pain in the ass. And it's hilarious to me because I snarked about why, when the PS4, the most recent console update happened, I said, why would you want to copy your footage off to a USB drive when you have a capable editor on the PS4? Well, now I want to be able to copy my footage off the Xbox One, and I don't think there's a way to do that unless I manually pick a clip, don't do anything to it, but I have to name it, send it to my OneDrive, and just, oh, God. Yeah, I very much want to extract my videos off of that, but I don't think I'm going to be able to, and it's very unfortunate.
I wonder if that's something they'll end up patching in, just because, especially when I talked a few weeks ago about PlayStation 4's Share Factory and how, for a free download, it's a pretty rad little thing, and you can just yoink things right over to your USB drive, and it made me realize you could take any of your videos and put them on USB drive very easy.
And Upload Studio is great. It is powerful, but it's fucking slow. And I want to just take what I have and be able to... I should try plugging in a mouse and keyboard to the one. It's not going to change anything because the transition from screen to screen is slow, and because I have to go one clip at a time to preserve each individual clip.
But sometimes you want to edit them your way. You don't necessarily want to edit it, Microsoft's way.
Absolutely.
I have to relate things to Share Factory because I don't have a one. I have a PlayStation 4. But I know with Share Factory, one of my things I said might be a drawback is that there are only 4 or 5 templates in the thing. So you're going to see the same damn thing over and over unless game companies or Sony starts releasing DLC, either free or small premium expansions to it. So I could see where there's a desire for people to want to just give me the files and I'll do it on Premiere my way, or I'll do it on the thing my way. And hopefully, as gaming on YouTube and Twitch and all that gets even bigger and bigger, we'll probably see easier ways to do that.
There is actually one last thing. I've been playing through more and more of Rusty's Real Deal Baseball, which is for an initially free game, but the fact that you can get all of the content for about $9. No, probably more like $12, because they range. If you do it right, everything's just under $2. But for a $15 game, whoever specifically developed that game is a genius, because they are taking every single fundamental of baseball and drilling into it so low level, so deep into just the specific mechanics of it, and it's damn near rote memorization, but it's really strangely fun. I only have 3 of them so far: umpire simulator, swinging practice, catching practice. I'm gonna get fielding next. It's really massive amounts of fun. It is surprisingly fun.
All right. Nice. All right. Is that it for your game week?
I think so.
All right. Let's talk about my game week. I actually have had my hands on a few games this week. The first one I want to talk about, which I'm going to, full disclosure, possible conflict of interest here. I do a show called Horde House with my buddy. What? You're wagging your finger at me. Okay. I do a show called Horde House with my buddy Xtifer, and his partner is a designer on this game. So, but they've been telling me I've got to play this for forever. So finally this week I played Rocksmith 2014. So I'm not really going to review the game, but I'm just going to say I have been playing it, and I was pretty impressed I don't know the first goddamn thing about playing the guitar, right? But the neat thing about Rocksmith 2014 is that it made it look more like Rock Band, where instead of maybe pressing buttons, it was, here is a picture of the entire guitar. What do they call it? The neck, or the entire length of the guitar? The neck,
frets.
The frets. I don't know.
Then I think it's the neck, and the frets are the individual sections.
Okay, so it might zoom in and show you 3 frets, and then start to zoom out if you have to go to a different one, and you kind of learn that the dots are sort of placement on the guitar, because it's a real guitar, and I found that I was able to play something like Foo Fighters' Everlong. Now I wasn't able to play the whole thing like it's a real guitar, but when you first start, it's okay, you'll play one note here, one note here, one note here, and then the game kind of learns, all right, you did pretty good on that. In fact, you've probably mastered about 8% of the song. So the next time you play it, we're going to balance it for you. And it adds a few more notes in. So you learn to play it a little more, and then a little more. So that's kind of the approach in Rocksmith. So I was really surprised it actually does kind of work, because I was a little bit apprehensive. Is Rocksmith really going to be able to kind of teach me real guitar without these boring lessons that I sit through and all that? But they definitely have developed a way to do it. So, and whether you want to believe me or not because of what I just told you, that's fine. But I just will say I was pretty impressed with it. So, if you have an interest in learning how to play the real guitar, this definitely seems to be a way to do it if you're a gamer. My only thing was that, and I'm going to be on the song list, there was a lot of stuff in there I didn't recognize, but I also don't listen to a lot of rock music. I'm sure if you guys listen to more of that, you'd see more of that in there. But I went
We'll have to fix that.
I know, right? It's just weird. It's just kind of what I do. But most stuff I listen to tends to be more like synth. In fact, if they had a rocksmith for like piano or keyboard or something, I would be all over that. I would be all over that. So I'm kind of secretly hoping that's where they go next with it. But anyway, with Rocksmith or whatever, I didn't know like a whole lot of songs, but when I went into the shop, the DLC, I was like, oh shit, Smashing Pumpkins, I know that. Oh shit, Garbage, I know that. Oh shit, Maroon 5. Like there was all these songs in the store I knew. I was like, oh, well, I got to spend all that money if I want to get it. But there you go. So I liked Rocksmith. Other games I played this week. I played Zelda: The Wind Waker because on HD on the Wii U because that was the free game I got with Mario Kart 8. I did not play a lot of this on the GameCube, to be honest. I was living with Loki at the time that game came out. I remember, and I watched Loki play it, and so I never really got hands on it myself. I just watched Loki play some of it.
I have a copy somewhere. I think it's
yeah.
in my sister's storage.
Well, yeah.
Because I asked her I'm like, I want my GameCube back because I want to play that, and then she's like, it's in storage. I'm like,
all these years later, yeah. But when it first came out, I seem to remember watching you play it, and I was always a little put off by like, oh, it's like there's no world. It's all these little islands, and it's just all this freaking water to get everywhere. But I don't know. Revisiting it on the Wii U, I'm like super into it. I don't know why. I can't really put my finger on it, but I'm just like, it's something about the game does look really good because, you know, even though the Wii U isn't necessarily the same oomph as the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox 3 or Xbox One, it can do the cartoony looks very, very, very well, which obviously Wind Waker's style is all in that. And it is really nice having that item screen on your gamepad so you don't have to keep flipping back and forth all the time. Same thing with the maps and all that. So even that integration alone is worth it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I would be totally down for like a toon-shaded Zelda game that's like Link to the Past or something. Mm-hmm. Like, that would be amazing. Like if they did a new game like that where it's just Hyrule and, you know, with all the exploration and stuff in there. Oh, that'd be awesome.
Also, I'm looking in chat with some other comments here. Sorry, there's some comments on Rocksmith I want to go back to real quick. Dartetsuya says maybe they could call it Rock Synth, talking about the keyboard game. That would be amazing. It'd be amazing. Akuma JP says, Sky, was it fun enough to keep you playing Rocksmith? Yes, I want to go back and play more, actually, if I can put down some of these other games I've been playing.
Did you play the arcade stuff?
No, I didn't. I only played the learning the songs. There's still stuff in the game I haven't even looked at yet. Yeah, that's another reason why I didn't really want to review it. I'm just really giving you impressions. Like these are my thoughts, my stream of consciousness thoughts of the game as I usually do. So yeah, Wind Waker, I'm having a lot of fun revisiting it. The Miiverse integration stuff's a little silly, in my opinion. You can take these little selfies and attach them to Miiverse notes, and they show up in other people's games if you set your games that you can get the little messages in a bottle. I mean, I'm not knocking on it. It's cute, but it's definitely like one small little dip in, you know, the grander scheme of things. It's still a fun Zelda game that I'm having fun kind of exploring all over again. But let's be real. This week has been all about Mario Kart 8. That's all anybody's talking about this weekend, it seems. It's interesting because Watch Dogs just came out on Tuesday, and if my Twitter feed's any indication, everybody already forgot and is playing Mario Kart 8. No offense to you Watch Dog fans out there, of which I'm sure there are many, but it really seems like Mario Kart 8 has really taken over the conversation the past couple days. And that's probably a really good thing for Nintendo because I can't remember the last time the Wii U has been dominating the conversation since it launched. Not even Mario 3D World over the holiday really got that same level of conversation.
Well, there's been a lot of conversations, but none of it's been positive.
Fair enough. But you know what I mean? The type of buzz
Yes.
Nintendo wants. So, yes, Mario Kart 8 is out. And let me talk about the good, and I'll talk about the not so good. I did mention earlier, I believe this is the second best game that the Wii U has at this time. It's that good. The first being Mario 3D World. I don't think it's as good as that, but I think it's still really, 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 really damn good. Especially for you fans of Mario Kart. I think it's probably the strongest Mario Kart game in quite a while. Unless you're a huge fan of battle mode like Loki, and I will say that is definitely one of the minuses, is that battle mode, it isn't really what you remember. Instead, it's let's go opposite directions on because you're going to unlock all the courses backwards because that happens in Mario Kart games. That doesn't have to be a spoiler. So it's let's race on the cart in both direction or on the course in both directions, and when we pass each other, we'll kill each other. It's kind of so it's yeah. Anyway, other things though I want to talk about Mario Kart 8. The good track design's great. Some of the courses gorgeous to look at. The game looks so good on the Wii U. Again, it goes for that cartoony look. And I was playing the game, and even Shane commented, and I had to agree. He's watching me play, and he goes, why didn't Mario 3D World look this good? Why didn't they use some of these textures in Mario 3D World? And I kind of had to say, like, yeah, it's a good point. I don't know why some of the other Wii U games we see don't look quite as good as Mario Kart, but it looks great. It's gorgeous. Like some of the stages are pretty amazing too. Like there's this twisted mansion, like which is basically like the Boo house that you go through, and depending on if you go left or right, you'll either be on the ceiling or on the floor, and you kind of race. So you might be like literally have people above you as you're racing, and all those shortcuts. I think one of the most impressive courses in the game is Bowser's Castle, because there's this room where you go by a giant Bowser and he punches the sides of the track. So he'll punch the left side, then he'll punch the right side. And as he punches it, it twists and turns. Because, the whole big thing in Mario Kart 8 is anti-grav, right? And your cars suddenly turn into Tron when you run over certain parts of the track and you're like going up walls and shit. It's crazy. So the track design, and they do this stuff on the old tracks too. Like they actually found ways to put anti-grav on the old tracks. And sometimes it's, hey, look, it's Mario Kart Circuit from the Super Nintendo, except now we've elevated part of the course. And instead of going around a loop, it now is a vertical loop that you go up and around. It's really crazy, stuff like that. But really impressive to look at from a graphical part. Now, ActDeft in chat says, Mario 3D World looks great. I do agree, ActDeft. Mario 3D World does look great. I wouldn't have called it my favorite Wii U game if I thought it looked like crap. But I'm just saying, like, Mario Kart 8 feels like the bar has gone even higher. You know what I mean? Like, in a very short amount of time. So it's just very interesting. Also good. For all the LOL Nintendo and online, and Nintendo doesn't get online and all this stuff we talk about, online works really fucking well. I didn't get any hiccups when I played. Didn't see any lag. If there is lag, the game is accommodating for it somehow. I don't know how, but it's doing it. I played a couple online races, one with a friend that lives in South Carolina. One random match I had, a whole bunch of people joined, like some over California, some in other places, and they all ran really well. Yes, there is voice chat. It works only in the lobby. But because your Wii U gamepad has the microphone built in, you just talk and the Wii U gamepad picks it up and you hear everybody else. There's a little bit of a delay. It's not instantaneous, but I don't think Xbox Live or PlayStation Network are any different in that regard. So sometimes you'll hear a little bit of echoing, but all things considered, I'm voice chatting on a Nintendo online game. Oh my God, party like it's 2004.
So that's only in the lobby and not in the races?
It is only in the lobby and not in the races. That's one... And it's only when you're with friends, not with strangers. They have the whole text, the predetermined phrases that they have for those other times, like they did in Mario Kart on the Wii, which is fine, whatever. It gets the job done. I don't want to hear strangers anyway. I was a little disappointed it doesn't exist in the races, but I also find that during the races, I'm focused on the race. And it's probably for the best that other people can't hear the things I'm calling them.
It would be fun, though, that if you could have, like, those like phrase bubbles or whatever on your gamepad,
yeah,
like
right?
when you come by, like loser.
Yeah, right. All right. And also, I thought there was a really good variation of kart mods. Which the earlier Mario Karts, had the last couple have had this too, but there is definitely a variety, and the variety also extends to the character roster. There's 30 characters you can play as, and I think the addition of the Koopa Kids actually was a really smart add to the game. It really helped diversify the roster. However, one small drawback I have with the game is that some of the characters they have on the roster are a pretty big stretch. And I get why they do it. They're trying to have these different weight classes. They have, because all 30 characters, they're all over the spectrum in weights. You don't just have light, medium, heavy anymore. They're all over. But some of the characters are a little dippy. I mean, really? Who's looking forward to playing as Baby Rosalina? Or Pink Gold Peach? Or for that matter, Metal Mario, who I think is a little bit of a ridiculous character as well. Or, some of these other characters in the game, you just kind of look at it and go... No. Couldn't we have put another character in the game instead? And I think Shane or Alan or somebody was saying this the other night. Like, if you want another heavy class, why have we never seen Wart from Mario Brothers 2 ever show up in another Mario game, like, ever? Like, Wart would have been an awesome, like, heavy racer that could be there instead of Metal Mario.
Because he technically wasn't a Mario enemy.
Yeah, but neither were the Shy Guys, and they show up. I mean, if we go with that logic, then there's other Mario 2 inspired things.
Shy Guys have shown up in other Mario games.
Didn't Wart show up later on in something else? I thought he did.
I didn't think so.
Still, I mean...
But like my point is that Birdo made the transition, originally debuted in 2, and has been prolific in the universe.
And good point. I didn't even think of Birdo. Birdo doesn't show up in the game as a racer, and that's very disappointing. I would have taken Birdo over Toadette. That's for sure. So
because they have to diversify, if my brother's playing, Metal Mario, then sister needs to play, Metal Peach or whatever. They're just trying to even it out that way.
Let's see. Tiger Claw says, here's the thing. Nintendo added all 7 Koopalings to the roster. Why not include Bowser Jr.? Because they have Baby Mario, Baby Luigi, Baby Peach, Baby Daisy, Baby Rosalina. Do they really need Baby Bowser on top of all that?
Or they could have put, Dixie Kong, Diddy Kong.
Yeah, why not Dixie Kong?
Oh, because it doesn't really fall into the whole Mario Brothers thing. Yeah,
it's just,
But Donkey Kong Jr., there you go.
I do think it's great that, Mario Kart does have a really good balance of male and female racers. Like, I think that's really good and a good thing, for the industry as a whole. One thing Nintendo does very well is that they always have a lot of good male and female characters. But when you're kind of stretching it, like, literally, Peach is playable 3 different ways, and so is Mario for that matter. But Dixie Kong.
I don't think they should have had any of the baby characters. I don't think that they should have had the metal characters. And even the Koopalings are kind of like it's just,
don't knock it till you tried it. The Koopalings are pretty diverse. I like them a lot. It
seems like that they're trying to pad that roster, to make it even bigger than it is.
I think that's okay. But I think what it is, Loki. I think what people are really clamoring for is they want Nintendo Kart, not Mario Kart. Because then we start to say, well, why not have Zelda? Why not have Link? Why not have...
I think that would have been a great idea because they would have given them, they could have been a little bit fresh with their tracks. Don't get me wrong, I like the retro tracks in there, but I think that as of late, they've been getting kind of lazy with having a lot of retro tracks in there. Granted, this is the one they did update it.
That's what they do in Mario Kart games. Every single Mario Kart game has half new, half old, and that's part of the charm. I totally disagree with you there. Like, I look forward to seeing what retro tracks are available and how they've messed with it. Because there's some really cool tracks that have come back.
I'm sure we'll see DLC, and I mean,
I hope so.
If Sonic can have a Zelda, course in it, I'm sure we'll have a Sonic course.
I hope so. Here's my other... the character roster thing, though, is honestly only a very minor bitch, because I get that they want to have all these selectable and customizable things, and that's a good thing, but it's just like, really? And Wyland's telling me to shut up because he plays Baby Rosalina. Sorry, but it's just, I had to pick on somebody. All right. The only other thing that I think is a drawback about the game, and an otherwise fantastic game, is that I thought it was really weird that in 2-player mode, you could not have one person on the screen and one on the gamepad. Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed did that. Why can't Mario Kart do that? You have to have the split screen side by side. And I understand the answer might be it was a performance issue. When you do that, you have the frame skip. And I go, okay, well, that's an explanation, but it doesn't make it feel any less like, why can't you do that? I mean, you guys have to understand, although you might say, oh, well, the reason is because of technology. Well, then the technology needs to be better or something, because it seems really weird. Or at least give me the option. If I play that way and I don't like the frame rate skip, then I go back and play the other way. Or maybe what they used to do in the F-Zero game that was on GameCube. I don't know if you guys noticed in the game, but they would actually take some graphical liberties with the tracks. And when you had 4 players playing at once, the tracks weren't as graphically involved so that it could get that performance out of it. And I would have liked to see something like that. I thought it was so weird that I couldn't have one on the gamepad, one on the screen when one of the launch titles racing games had that. And yes, the performance suffers a little bit, but it's not awful. It's not anywhere near awful. But that Sonic racing game, as fun as it is, it's just not in the same club as Mario Kart. But anyway, so yes.
But they have Danica Patrick.
Which actually, knock that all you want, but she's a lot of fun to play in that game. So whatever with you. Let's see. Act Deft in chat says, yeah, Loki, the classic tracks don't even feel like classic tracks. They feel new. Granted, they screwed up Rainbow Road. Yeah, they took Rainbow Road from the Nintendo 64, and although it looks gorgeous in the game, because Rainbow Road on Nintendo 64 was so long, right, they just made it a one-lap race that they split into 3 parts. Yeah, Loki's rolling his eyes over there. But you know what? It's not that big a deal. I really don't think it's that big a deal.
That's dumb.
I still think that Rainbow Road is better than the new one they put in there. I don't like the new Rainbow Road at all. But like, there's like a dance club level. The Electrodome, I think it's called. That level is badass. That's like a little like dance club, and you see like these big monitors where like Shy Guys and Koopas are getting down, dancing on the sides as you're racing through. And then as you're racing on the track, the little neon lights light up on the track as you're racing. And then as you do the skids, the neon lights change color. And it's just a subtly awesome effect. Anyway, I didn't even get into the online stuff and the whole like, yes, it puts together these highlight reels and you can upload them to YouTube. And it's a really creative way to kind of try to match what PlayStation 4's got going on with the share button. I sort of think these YouTube clips are going to be a dime a dozen and they're going to lose their effectiveness really fast. But for those, like if you have a lot of people over and you want to relive those epic moments, like when somebody got hit with a red shell right before they were about to cross the finish line, those highlight reels serve a pretty good function. And I think is an interesting addition to the game. So anyway, all right. That's it. That's all I'm going to say about Mario Kart 8. I've said plenty. But overall, even though it sounds like I had a lot of negatives, the positives far outweigh the negatives. And it's a must-own game if you are a Wii U owner. And if you're not a Wii U owner, I think this one's going to tip it a lot of ways. I have heard of several people on Twitter went out and got the Mario Kart bundle for the Wii U.
Thought about it.
Even Loki thought about it, which says something.
Here's the thing. I like Mario Kart, but I had to say, listen, am I going to pay $300 for Mario Kart? And I was just like, I don't know. Not right now, maybe.
It would be Mario Kart and Zelda because you still get the freebie or whatever.
I probably wouldn't do Zelda, actually.
Or Mario U or whatever you want to get.
I don't know, but I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. If I got it,
I think there's a lot of people teetering, and now is going to be a great time. I don't think it's going to happen at E3, but I think by the holiday comes around.
There's still time too. You have now between now and the end of July to kind of decide whether you want to do that or not. So wait for E3, see what announcements they have. Then that might be worth it.
I still think come the holiday after that promotion is over, I think Nintendo might come out and finally say, "All right, $50 off." We'll see. I think a lot of us think that kind of thing has to happen sooner rather than later, though. Even go to our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com. Robaba says, you made it sound more positive than negative. Oh, good. I don't like to be the negative gamer, but I am going to point out issues I have with the game, but overall it's so good. Sonic M88 in chat says, I just bought my bundle today, but it was mainly for Wind Waker. Interesting. I guess there are a lot of people that are getting into that Wind Waker. So, all right. Anyhow, that's it. We're going to get into some gaming news, but I want to do housekeeping real quick. Do add us on Facebook, facebook.com/orangeloungeradio, and also we are on Google+, google.com/+orangeloungeradio, and Twitter, twitter.com/OLR. A few things coming up as of note. Speaking of Mario Kart, some other podcast frenzies of mine and us here at OLR are going to get together for a Mario Kart tournament on the 22nd. Which happens to also be a big night for us because that's going to be our big birthday show. So plan on the podcast Cross Zone tournament happening on June 22nd. And the details are being finalized right now, so I'll have more info for you probably next week. But just kind of set aside some time there to participate in that tournament. I think we're going to give away a game, and it's all in celebration of Podcast Cross Zone. There's going to be a panel at GamerX again this year with myself, the guys from Koopa Club, the guys from Game Buoy, the guys from Game Bar, that's GAYMEBAR, and Video Game Realness. I'm not sure if they're actually attending in person, but they'll be there in spirit because they're awesome too. They're going to be there as well, and I feel like I'm leaving somebody out, and I'm feeling horrible. Probably because there's OLR and Horde House. Shit, if I'm leaving somebody out, then I'm really, really, really sorry, but I think that's it. But all those groups are getting together to bring you the Podcast Cross Zone tournament on the 22nd. So stay tuned for more information on that. That'll be a lot of fun. And then there's going to be, we'll do something with VOG as well. Like I know, especially when Mario Kart 7 first came out, we were playing all the time on breaks and things like that. So we'll look at doing something similar to that for those of you guys that are really into Mario Kart and want to race online and all that. So, all right. Also, I want to give a quick shout out to another podcast that was kind enough to have me on their program this week. The podcast is called Killer Queens from Outer Space, and it's episode 13 that I was on. The interesting thing is that it actually is no video game talk from me on this particular show, because this is a podcast about movies, focusing a lot on scary movies, which I'm not usually super into, but this particular week was on musical and cult scary movies, which is the stuff I do. So we talked Rocky Horror, we talked Repo the Genetic Opera, and because I guess the Blu-ray just came out, this movie came up, and I'm a big fan of this scary movie, Sleepaway Camp.
Oh, yeah.
Which, if you've never seen Sleepaway Camp, don't spoil it. You've got to go into this movie not knowing anything about it. It's like a really cheesy thriller from the 80s. And if you don't know the ending...
Didn't they remake that? I thought they were talking about remaking that.
I think they did like another sequel, like a Sleepaway Camp 4 or something that came out not that long ago. But do you know what I learned on Killer Queens from Outer Space? This has nothing to do with video games, but I have to share this. I learned this on Killer Queens from Outer Space. Did you know that in the flashback scenes, there's a little boy, right? In the flashback scenes, okay, that you see, right? That little boy is the Situation from Jersey Shore's brother. Because apparently that guy was at some screening that one of the hosts on this show went to, and I was like, get the hell out. So I
scoffed, and then I chuckled.
That was the Situation's brother was in Sleepaway Camp, and that makes it like 10 times funnier if you know what the ending is. But I'm not going to say anything. So, anyway. And SSGO 100 Matt is like, oh, God, Sleepaway Camp is on Blu-ray. Yep. We'll talk all about it on that show. So check that out. That was episode 13 of Killer Queens from Outer Space. They're on iTunes and all that good stuff, Twitter. Just Google it. You'll find it. All right. Okay, now we can get into some news. A little bit of gaming news this week. A little lighter leading up to E3 week. Next week, I think, is going to be a ton of news. And then, of course, in 2 weeks, there's a ton. Speaking of E3, I should get this out. I was going to talk about this at the beginning of Part B, but I guess I'll say this quickly now. VOG will be at E3 2014, just like we were last year, except there's more of us going this year. Last year, Bobby had to do it by himself. This year, myself, Bobby, and Jason all going to E3.
Yay!
And we will be participating in the interactive coverage. If you want to check this out, just go to e3.vognetwork.com. I think for the next couple days, you're still going to see 2013's coverage, but I'll give you a taste of what it is. But Bobby's going to flip the switch to turn it to 2014 at some point this week. In a nutshell, we do not want to be the first place that you go to for E3 news. Because we can't be that. We're not going to be delusional. You're going to watch streams online. You're going to watch the TV stations. You're going to look at the Twitch, or you're going to go to these big corporate sites because they always get the exclusives and that's fine. We understand we can't compete with that. So we don't want to be the first. We want to be the second. Now that you're armed with all the script information that because they're just reading all the bullet points in the script. Now that you're armed with what all those first sites are giving you, what is it you really want to know about the games? That's what we're after at the Voice of Geeks Network, is letting your voices be heard on the floor at E3. So you can actually post questions to our board by clicking on an interactive sitemap of the E3 show floor. Let's say you have a question for Konami. You can click on Konami's booth. Let's say, heaven forbid, they announce a new DDR game at E3 or something. You could click on Konami's booth and you could ask a question like, is Sandstorm going to be in it? We will try to find out that answer for you. Keep in mind, some companies not as forthcoming as others. We will try our best. I guarantee it. But usually the bigger the company at E3, the tighter the script. And they don't really like to deviate from that. So, if they talk about Kingdom Hearts 3 at E3, probably they're not going to take questions on it. Probably nobody's probably going to be talking about it because they're just not ready to. But if you like games from those developers that are a little bit not maybe the first tier AAA developers, but maybe the A- B+ developers. They tend to send their creators to E3. They'll talk a lot more about their games, and if you have questions about them, we will do our darndest to find answers. And we got some great answers last year. We had some chat with the folks behind The Witcher 3, which I think we're seeing them again this year. I remember Disney Infinity. We were the ones to break the news on the price of the figures for Disney Infinity, and that was all because of your question. So that's the type of stuff we're looking to bring you in this next year. So check it out, e3.vognetwork.com, and we'll be able to ask 2 times. Bobby, I think he said he answered over 100 questions last year. Does that count the ones he zonked out? Because that seems like so many, but I would believe it. So I guess our goal is 200 this year. We'll see. All right.
250.
250. That's right. Set the bar high. All right. Let's get to it. Let's get into gaming news and leading into E3. What is going on? Loki.
So you may remember that there was a whole lot of issues with Let's Players and Nintendo games, that they were finding that they're not only getting like content ID hits, but also that I guess revenue was going to Nintendo for the ads and stuff. Well, now Nintendo is going to be offering an affiliate program with basically it's going to be like a rev share model where Google, Nintendo, and the video creators will be able to share the revenue from their ads. And I guess they've already been tagging, recent YouTube videos of Nintendo games, and Nintendo ads are appearing on those videos. I guess, before, because they were just kind of taking all the revenue, or at least splitting it between Google and themselves. But I guess now they're saying, hey, you can also, we're going to share it with, people that want to make money off of it as well. And, their comment, of course, Nintendo has been permitting the use of Nintendo copyrighted materials in videos on YouTube under appropriate circumstances. Advertisements may accompany those videos, and in keeping with previous policy, that revenue is shared between YouTube and Nintendo. In addition, for those who wish to use the material more proactively, we are preparing an affiliate program in which portions of the advertising profit is given to the creator. Details about this affiliate program will be announced in the future. I don't know. It's well within the right to do that, but it kind of seems like a dick move anyways. I don't know why they should even make revenue off of, creative content made with their stuff. I just don't understand why they would do that. It's free advertising, and they may not want the free advertising, but it's just kind of lame when there's so many other developers out there that just don't give a shit about people making money off of their content, and people are more inclined to show that kind of content versus I don't know a lot of people that would be dedicated to, like, say, a Nintendo only channel or something, and now they're making even less revenue per view or whatever from YouTube than they would have with another game. And ad per view anyways nowadays, it's not that much to begin with, so I don't know.
I'm going to be honest. This might not be the popular opinion, but sometimes I don't have the popular opinion. I kind of think it's fair for Nintendo to take a piece of it. And I am a YouTube content creator myself, and I think if Nintendo, the game developer themselves, wants to have a piece of the pie, you know what? They do make the games that we're broadcasting over. And I realize some people do commentary and some people do the jokes and things. But guys, you can say that all you want, but the reality is you wouldn't have any of that if you didn't have the game to go with it. Like, let's be real, you guys. Come on. You would not have that commentary if it wasn't for the game. And if you want to do that type of stuff without the game imagery and without the game music and all that stuff that goes into making a game, you can do that, and then you can have all the profits or whatever. But I think if you are going to, try to make a living, so to speak, off of all these clips that Nintendo had a hand in, you know what? Nintendo has a right to some of the money. However, that being said, now, where do we draw the line? Because I think if you're going to be reviewing a Nintendo product and you use clips from Nintendo games in your review, I question if it's ethical for Nintendo to be taking a share of that. Because those reviews are supposed to be something that Nintendo, is supposed to, kind of give that light to Nintendo and so forth. But I'm not talking like 5-minute Let's Plays being reviews. I'm talking like 30-second clips of the game being in reviews. I'm not so sure Nintendo should be entitled in those types of situations. But that's the problem with something like this, is it's complicated. And YouTube wants to make these blanket decisions that don't always make sense. And where I get really pissed off is with non-Nintendo companies, third parties that aren't even involved with the game making copyright claims against things that are out there publicly as you can make this content and you can make money off this content. Like I mentioned a couple weeks ago on the show, Super Hexagon. I had a copyright claim on one of those and I was really pissed. And I want to know, where's the strike against them for doing those claims? And we got into it last week about the whole, which side are they on, the consumer or themselves and so forth. And I'm not trying to rehash that argument, but I'm just saying that this is why there's really a concern about this whole Nintendo thing is Nintendo going to start to claim on things that maybe they really don't actually have business making money off of? It's a complicated situation. And I know they're also talking about this whole you have to get permission first and all this. But if you're making it that easy to upload upload clips to YouTube of Mario Kart and all this other stuff, then you know what? Signing up as a revenue sharing partner needs to be just as easy. I shouldn't have to fill out a 20-step form and wait 30 days or whatever it is.
Or just make it automatic. If you
something like that.
You rev share, if you monetize it, Nintendo's going to get cut as well. Just have that disclaimer there. This content's owned by Nintendo. Nintendo's taking a cut of it. I think people would be okay with that. And that's fine. Now this is out there, so it gives people that do the Let's Play videos an option. If you want to, make a video using Nintendo products, just know that you're going to be making less money, which I guess is better than no money that was the situation before.
Exactly, but Loki, my point is, and and I know not everybody's going to agree with me, but the harsh because people want to say, fair use and all this stuff, but the harsh reality is, if you didn't have those games to begin with, then you wouldn't have had a revenue to begin with.
But they would have a different game. They'd be using a different game then.
Unless all game companies went down this road.
Not all game companies are going to go down that road, though.
Some of the bigger ones might.
But some of the bigger ones aren't as a big a deal nowadays. It's a lot of indie uprising kind of now, whereas these big game companies, not a lot of people care about doing Let's Plays on them. I don't know. You have your options. That's what it is, I guess.
All this being said, Loki, I know you don't do a lot of YouTubes, but let's say you did. Would you make videos featuring Nintendo comment knowing this, or would you say, you know what, no, I'm not going to do this?
I'd probably be more inclined, if I'm going to put the effort into making a Let's Play video that's of a significant length and the amount of effort that it takes to make the video, I'd probably be more inclined to do a title that I'd be making more money off of. Because why would I spend the effort to make a video that I'm getting a fraction of what I could be getting from another game?
All right. Well, what I want to do is I actually want to go and I want to actually ask our listeners. We haven't done this in a while, but I want to ask our listeners about what they think on this topic. You know what's funny? You want to hear something funny related to YouTube and all this? So I used to have a YouTube of the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire Ask the Audience music that I'd always play in the background. I just tried to bring it up for this. It's gone. Talk about ironic. So let me see if this one works.
Download.
Let me see if this one works. All right, good enough. All right, so we're going to go ask our VOG Network participants right now. And if you are actually on live.vognetwork.com, you should see this question pop up on your screen shortly here. And I'm going to make this very simple. Is Nintendo's new revenue sharing policy on YouTube fair? Yes or no? And I realize there's a lot of in-betweens on this, and I'm actually trying to discourage that. I really want to know, as this information is being presented, do you believe it's fair? Yes or no? Should Nintendo be allowed to take a cut? So it's up there right now. We'll have that open for a little bit and check in on your results in just a minute. live.vognetwork.com. Dark Sakura, I know you've been a little bit quiet tonight, but I know you've been participating in chat and chatting with all of them. But you have a good sense of judgment with some of this stuff when it comes to these legal things. Sometimes I'm really curious. What do you think? Is Nintendo entitled to a cut?
If it's their product, then yes, they're entitled to a cut. However, as far as implementing it fairly, that is a different story. But yeah, I think they're entitled. Very base level. If they own the original product,
Right.
they should get a little bit of something out of it.
Right. It sounds like you and I are on a very similar page here, because I also have that hesitation where it's like, in theory, yes, I want to, if what Nintendo is doing is where the industry went, then yes, I would be fine with that. And I'm a content creator myself, and I'm fine with that. But the reality is, are they going to do it right? Is it going to be probably not? And that's what I'm concerned. Judging on these other things I'm seeing happening on YouTube, probably not.
But the hope is that since Nintendo likes to do things differently, they may have a different solution.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't know what it is.
All right. All right.
They do like to sort of drop shit on us from, orbit when we least expect it.
All right, let's leave the question up just a little bit while we go into this next story, and then we'll get into the results here in a moment. But I'm going to say right now it's overwhelmingly yes. So we'll see. We'll see here in a minute, though, where things shake out. In the meantime, while we wait for the votes to finalize on that, speaking of Nintendo, and I actually dipped into this a little bit with last week's news, but Loki was clarifying the difference, that there was like a third-party GameCube adapter that was going to be coming last week. Well, that Nintendo just...
It's not even an adapter. It's just a controller that's shaped like the GameCube.
Well, Nintendo just crapped on that this week by announcing that they're going to be putting out an adapter that you can actually plug your GameCube controller into this adapter, and you plug it into the Wii U. You'll be able to use the GameCube controller in Smash Brothers Wii U. This was actually tucked away in a Smash Brothers announcement. Jason, you touched on this earlier in the show as well.
Throw your Wavebirds in the air.
You excited about this?
I still have my Wavebird. I was actually going through a tub of something, looking for some stuff a couple weeks ago before I came out here, and I found my Wavebird, and I would love to put it to use. The using the Wiimote with Brawl was okay. Using the nunchuck I didn't really get used to that. But yeah, for stuff like this, anything that's a full-handed controller is great, and the Wavebird fit my hands really fucking well. I'd buy it in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Yeah, the GameCube controller. You and I were talking a little bit before the show, too, as you were kind of saying, like, what other controller has lasted 13-plus years? And I tried to argue a little bit, well, the DualShock really hasn't changed that much, especially from PS1 to PS2 to PS3. Now, granted, PS4, I would say they've changed enough to make it a different controller, but it's still... The thing about the PlayStation 4 controller and why it's still a great controller is it still kind of keeps everything that the DualShock does right.
Yep.
Yeah. But anyway, I mean, I totally get your point, is that, here we are, we're now having an adapter 2 life cycles later to use these old controllers because people are that attached to them. It's really something.
And controllers, the button reconfiguration is actually a bit of a sorted issue, where the Wii U Pro Controller and Classic Controller, the Wii Pro Controller and Classic Controller went back to the standard cross-action buttons, where the GameCube, like the N64, both of those controllers had very specific differences that really made a difference in the game as you played them. There is no controller that has lasted this long cross systems. The Wii had 4 native The Wii had 4 native GameCube ports in the side of the machine. This accessory looks identical. You plug it in once, and it's the full array. And who's to say that that they're not going to revitalize old GameCube controllers again? But if you have them, then you get to put them use.
There's nice save slots in there.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Well, you don't need to. The
but
onboard
if
storage
but if we're gonna go down the route of that, there's a possibility for GameCube Virtual Console games. Wouldn't it be awesome to be able to load up your save from the GameCube and play it on the GameCube Virtual Console version? Just saying.
GameCubes aren't too hard to come by.
Now, here's a
They're
very...
pretty
and this,
resilient machines.
some folks in chat are talking about this. Rama in our chat asks, will it be PC compatible? And you know what? It should be noted that because the Wii U takes these things via USB, that yes, this GameCube adapter is a USB. So I would think it's only a matter of time before somebody makes a driver
Official
for
or
it.
hacked drivers
or
will
hacked.
appear at some point.
Interesting.
I made this point
I
a
didn't even
number
think
of
about
months
that.
ago. I have paired my PS4 controller with my computer, but it seems to not work so well with Steam, so I have to use it physically. I have to use it hardwired. But we've also talked about the PlayStation 4 direct input translator thing, so games that support what the Xbox controller winds up doing, you can do with the PS4. If you can plug it into a computer, people can write something to work with it, period, end of discussion.
Now, of course, this is starting all the rumors about is Nintendo going to announce GameCube Virtual Console games at E3? What do you guys think with that? Do you think... I mean, it does seem like a really logical next step. A lot of people missed out on the GameCube, although a lot of people are missing out on the Wii U as well, but you still are probably going to have a good bunch of people who do have a Wii U who didn't have a GameCube, and I think, it seems logical, doesn't it? But
we make the point that Nintendo is very good at getting you to buy the same game, exactly the same game, three times.
Yeah,
a decade later. So if they are capable of doing so, why not? It seems inevitable. I don't see why not.
It's really interesting how much press this news has gotten too, considering it was really a footnote in a larger discussion on Smash Brothers. So it's just kind of neat.
Big deal to the FGC.
Well, especially like if you take this stuff really seriously, which even Nintendo is by having this official Smash Brothers tournament, this E3. I mean, this is the Smash Brothers is their bread and butter this holiday season. And yes, I know there's Bayonetta 2, and yes, I know there's the X and all this other stuff. But let's be real, Nintendo is putting all their eggs in Smash Brothers basket, and with good reason.
Now that Mario Kart finally came out.
Now that Mario Kart's finally out.
And Zelda, kind of, and Mario World.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go to the results of our poll. Again, we asked you guys live, is Nintendo's new revenue sharing policy on YouTube fair? And get this, roughly 85% of you guys, that's 84.62%, said yes, it's fair. Interesting. That's an overwhelming majority. Like, that's not even close. Now, granted, there were some of you that said no, and I hope to hear from you guys later in the program, if not, via email or via the Skype line. Of course, you can always send us email, participate@orangeloungeradio.com. If you get it in now, it's probably not going to make it for tonight, but I would be really curious to hear from some of you no's. Not in a combative way. I mean, I might have said that, yes, I believe it's fair, but I expressed my hesitations. So I actually do want to hear, I want to see if you guys can maybe rip that open a little more and kind of, I'm really curious about your guys' thoughts. So we'll maybe hear from some more of you guys a little later in the show. But yeah, 84.62% said yes, 15.38% said no. So thank you guys for participating. We haven't done a live poll in forever. I need to bring those back because it's a lot of fun to do. See what the audience thinks right as we're listening. Love it. All right, let's move on. Away from Nintendo finally this week. Dark Soccer, what do you have for us?
Well, for fans of BioShock, which I know we have quite a number of them, Take-Two has stated that there is a new Red Dead Redemption game on the way and that BioShock is not dead. Of course, we still have the whole, story being told now, being concluded through the season pass for BioShock Infinite. But they're saying that there may be a bit more to handle, a bit more going on in the future of the BioShock series. But yeah, there's definitely, though, we're going to see some more items, some Red Dead Redemption, more Borderlands, and, of course, the NBA games.
And this isn't new news for BioShock, even after the completely forgot his name, after like the series developer, the series creator,
Ken Levine.
Yeah, when Ken Levine was retasked, they said that BioShock wasn't done. It's just not something that he's going to be continuing to spearhead anymore. What that means isn't so much of a surprise, but obviously this is quite good news for the rest of the series to continue on their universes, continue on their story.
All right. Well, I mean, a lot of this, I'm not really surprised to hear any of this, but it's nice to have the official confirmation, especially in the department of Red Dead Redemption, because I know we've had some rumors on that, and so it's really neat to kind of see that really gaining steam. So, all right. Moving on, Loki.
All right. So this is pretty cool. But apparently, I don't know. Apparently, there's going to be some more games announced this year because some of the major ones that they announced at E3 last year have been delayed to 2015. So The Order 1886 was something that actually they had a event recently where they had shown off quite a bit of gameplay for it. It is now expected to be coming out early 2015. So that kind of sucks on the PlayStation 4, but equally so, Quantum Break is going to be coming out in 2015 as well, and apparently they're going to reveal that at Gamescom. So, I don't know. So that means that there's got to be something coming out in fourth quarter, because right now, at least on the Xbox side, Halo and Quantum Break are now next year, and The Order is next year. So what's fourth quarter? I mean, because I don't know. I mean, we know that maybe there's another Forza Horizon game coming, so maybe that, but aside from that, don't know.
There could be surprises. I
hope so.
I think there's surprises still in the back pocket. There usually is at E3. There'll be some type of surprise. It's like, this is this year. Well, we had the rumbling a couple weeks ago when we had the show. I know the Halo rumors were spinning really big about the Xbox One might have this Halo collection, which could sway me. I mean, honestly, Quantum Break was what I was waiting for to get the Xbox One. So hearing that it's 2015 is making me
Sunset Overdrive looks pretty good.
Yeah,
that's supposed to be coming out this year.
Forza Horizon 2 would sure sweeten the pot over there. That
would be pretty cool.
Probably a game that would make me finally take the plunge too. But I don't know. It'd be interesting. I'm of course I'm disappointed to hear about The Order going to 2015, but especially after seeing some of the previews in the past week. I know that was the week we were off, but they did a pretty extensive preview of The Order that showed what the game looked like, and it looks hot. Like, it's a neat look, and I'm not even really good at those type of shooter games, but why not? But considering the way The Order looked last year at E3, I kind of always in my mind thought this game is way out. Like, this is not something. Like, this is one of those way out games. Like, I don't think it was never something I was really anticipating in 2014. So I'm actually not as disappointed to hear about that. Yeah. I didn't realize that was such a huge thing for people this year. I always kind of thought that was next year.
I wasn't like that excited about it when they showed us. Kind of like,
no,
yeah, it's all right. I'm not like a super huge fan of like steampunk. I mean, I think it's cool, but it's not going to get me to buy a game.
I still wonder if Sony ain't going to come out and say, "Hey, remember The Last Guardian? PlayStation 4 and this year." Like, there's that part of me that just kind of goes, that's kind of the sleeping giant that Sony's got. You know? That could be it. Also, another thing that's surprising, Little Big Planet, where'd that go? Like, I know Media Molecules moved on to other things, but I can't imagine Sony's let that franchise go. Like, somebody else did the Vita version, and the Vita version came out fine. So I imagine somebody's developing Little Big Planet on PlayStation 4, and that we haven't seen anything on that. So that could be another little, surprise holiday title. Like, that seems very likely.
Since we're going to go down this path here, because they've had different Little Big Planet type games and stuff, wouldn't it be kind of cool, like a Little Big Planet type game crossed with Animal Crossing or something, where you build up your own town, like literally build it up, out of stuff. That'd be pretty cool. And be able to share that kind of environments and build your own like theme, like park rides or something like that. Because I mean, Little Big Planet Karting was pretty cool, and that was done by completely different developers, so I'd be interested to see anything.
Dungeon Buster in our chat says, "I'm not holding my breath for Last Guardian. If it arrives, it arrives." And our pal Bobby Blackwolf says, "I'm all over an Xbox One Forza Horizon. All over." And ActF agrees. If that gets announced for Xbox One, I'll be getting one. And Forza 5 as well. See, I'm not as big on the main Forza series, because those are the types of racers I'm really not good at. Is the more and same thing with Gran Turismo. Like, I'm really shitty at those games, so I don't really have as interest in them as I do the Burnouts, the Mario Karts, the Forza Horizons, the more arcadey style games.
Oh man, a new Burnout game.
Yeah, where'd that go?
Well, Criterion's now making fucking terrible Need for Speed games, but they're not making one this year. There's no Need for Speed this year, so crossing my fingers that the reason there is no Need for Speed this year is because they're making a Burnout game. Oh God, I hope so.
Blender's in chat pointing out that Little Big Planet is still a thing. Little Big Planet 2 is still putting out DLC.
And
DC Universe.
Where the fuck is the free-to-play Little Big Planet game that they were supposed to have?
Oh, I forgot that was supposed to be a thing.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, everybody did. Where the fuck is it?
Loki, maybe it's PlayStation 4 now.
It could be.
There's other free-to-play stuff on PlayStation 4. Who knows? I mean...
But seriously, a new Burnout game, I would be all over
that. All right. Well, here's the good news. In literally 1 week and 1 day, we'll know.
Oh, I'll be watching all those conferences. But
we'll know. Here's the crazy thing too. I don't even know if I told you guys. You might be finding this out for the first time. Bobby and I are fortunate enough. We are going to Sony's conference.
Yeah, I already knew that.
It's. I'm excited. It is fun. I've actually never been to one of the big press conferences. This is the first year I'm going to one, so there'll be a lot of fun. So, yeah. Anyway, but here's the thing. Here's my question. What can I do for you guys at the conference? Because y'all are going to be watching it. So I'd be an idiot to say like, oh, well, I'll be sure to break all the news for you guys. Like, come on. Like, you're all going to be watching it. You're all going to know. You all have an internet.
It's all part of E3. It's going to roll into the coverage that you were already planning on anyway.
I will try to keep my eyes and ears open, like, around and see what else, like, especially, like, what types of promo things might they have there and what they seem to really be
in a
pushing.
really quiet moment where they're announcing something that's really kind of ho-hum, you got to yell, woo! And we'll know.
Not going to promise anything because I'd like to be invited back in the future, but
they would invite you back because of your enthusiasm. I mean, if boring shit like that is getting you that hyped up, they're going to want you there every year.
We'll see.
This year it's coming out white. Woo! White!
No, I love the sentiment, guys. ActDef says, yell VOG rules. I appreciate the sentiment, but again, I'd like to be asked back in a future year, so that's one way to not get asked back. So, yeah. Anyway, I doubt they have many mics on that portion of the audience anyway. All right, moving on, Jason.
As everyone heard, I expect that was following this game even remotely, Amplitude's Kickstarter succeeded. Their original goal of $750,000 in an 18-day span was finished. Harmonix did a lot of live broadcasting, telethon style was their claim. I missed all of it for some reason. Apparently, I was really busy. I kind of don't remember why, to be honest. But they did a lot of really fun, engaging community stuff in the lead up to the end of the Kickstarter, and they pulled it out. They exceeded it by about 100,000 when it all winds down, which is great. I don't think that covered any of the stretch goals, but the game is funded, and they're going to do their damnedest. This is good news considering what the 2 weeks lead up was. It is not all good news. Within a week, I believe, of that even closing, one of the first backer updates was talking about the fact that Harmonix is laying off 37 members of staff. A spokesperson says, Harmonix is in the process of restructuring our organization to bring it into alignment with our current and future product development plans. Unfortunately, this means making the difficult decision to reduce the number of full-time staff. We sincerely appreciate the work of each and every one of these employees. Harmonix is working to ensure that those affected are well taken care of as we make this change, and that these changes will not affect their current plans for Amplitude and Disney Fantasia Music Evolved. I am very opinionated on this right now. So the first thing that you keep in mind is that Harmonix, any company, does not discuss personal specifics. They use the time full-time jobs, which usually means that it should have been core staff. But you know what also wound down when Amplitude finished? Chroma. They don't need system administrators to run their servers. They don't need as much engineering effort to fix issues. They don't need creative designers to add new content to the game as quickly as when the game was running. This is not like the way that I see this. The way that I see these layoffs is that.
Can you back up a minute? What the fuck happened to Chroma? Because Chroma
it was alpha. It wasn't beta. Like, it was not supposed to just be playable until the release.
Right.
They've got the information that they want. They are going to refine the game and go to step B.
Huh.
It was a limited public demo of which they've never done before.
A lot of people were thinking this would lead to beta, leads to full release.
And they broke the mold.
That's weird.
Which is good, because that game has a lot of edges that need to be filled out, and I'm looking forward to them being able to do that. So I saw this announcement, and, it sucked. As we always say, nobody wants to hear about lost jobs, period. There was a lot of really weird stuff about people probably that were equally as snarky about the Kickstarter. How about you use some of that $800,000 and help the people that lost their job? Well, they did.
Yeah, I mean, this, and I wouldn't call myself a snarky person about the Kickstarter, but I presented my reasons and everything. And, the really scary kind of element here is that whole Kickstarter, I mean, literally, it's very obvious now, was literally a last-ditch effort by this company to save jobs. Because now you see why it was that 18-day window, which even I was one of those people that was like, why you're shooting yourself in the foot by giving yourself only 18 days. Well, they knew somebody up above knew. Come the end of May, I'm going to have to lose 65 people or something like that.
My
unless
thoughts exactly.
I can raise $750,000, like literally pull this money out of my ass to save at least half the jobs. Yeah. How can I pull money out of my ass? Let's go to Kickstarter.
But it's true. This number invariably would have been bigger had Kickstart not finished. There is no doubt in my mind whatsoever. And they did what they could to secure, the workforce that they need to be able to complete their jobs, to complete the game rather, and fulfill their jobs. I think that had they made stretch goals, they would have been able to keep another 5 people maybe. I think the $1 million tier was simultaneous multiplayer, where right now the game is only anticipated on being offline local multiplayer, but they don't necessarily need everybody's specialties, or they just don't need that extra engineering effort. So some people that may have been a part of this project ultimately, in theory, got let down at the conclusion of it. But I have to think that number is shrunk by at least a dozen, if not more.
What's really interesting, though, is that if some of those stretch goals had been hit, probably with each stretch goal they hit, that would have been like 2-3 more jobs that would have saved.
But this was going to happen. Everybody knew about it. As you just said, that time window was one. It was a great period of time to let those people be able to find other things other places to go, other things to do. And then they held on to as many of them as they could.
I gotta say, you all know how I felt about the Kickstarter, and the industry is the industry the way that it is. It doesn't change my opinion or anything I said a few weeks ago or whatever. But I gotta say, for better or for worse, this is one of the most desperate things I've ever seen a game company do in the years. In the 12 years we've been doing this show, this is one of the most desperate maneuvers I've ever seen happen, and that's it's kind of sad. I wish it wasn't happening to Harmonix, because I do believe overall they make really good stuff, and it just kind of sucks that they're really sometimes at the mercy of a fickle music industry, so to speak, and the gaming industry and so forth. But what a desperate move that Kickstarter was now in retrospect.
Did you actually wind up backing it?
I did not.
Loki?
Nope.
Jamie?
Not a huge fan of Amplitude.
No.
I did.
Yeah.
I did not until after it passed, which I'm still very mixed about. But as soon as it was obvious that it was going to hit the home stretch with still a good 20 hours remaining, I threw mine in, and I'll be getting the game.
And I still stand by everything I said before. Yeah. I mean, with all this information, it kind of it sucks and so forth, but this thing happens in the industry all the time at the same time, and those guys will move on and hopefully be able to get in at another studio, or maybe sometimes these people start new studios, and, the ebb and flow will continue of these development cycles. Absolutely. But I personally don't believe in paying for a game a year and a half before it's out with no investor perks, but that's me. Well, I know, poop
no,
on me.
You are good with your reasoning, and you stuck by it.
But so I'll tell you this: I will abso-freaking-lutely check this game out when the demo's out there, and when some of my backer friends have the game, and if I like it, which I 95% sure I will, then I'll buy it when it's out. Yep. Why won't I? Absolutely. I love music games.
There is actually some more news regarding this that I don't think was in the show roll.
Sure,
There's actually been a lot of really good announcements about it. Danny Baranowski is going to be on the soundtrack. The author, the composer, composer of Super Meat Boy soundtrack, and Dungeon Defenders most recently, I think, and a number of Binding of Isaac, and a number of other, incredibly noteworthy games in just the last year and a half or 2 years. And there were a couple of other people, Anamanaguchi, and who was the third one?
C411.
C418.
That guy that does
composer.
Minecraft, yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, which is interesting. Did you notice that when they announced that was really the start of the upswing of the Kickstarter?
Yeah.
They should have got that. But again, I think I don't think they necessarily had those people signed on the dotted line until they announced it. And I think
they couldn't afford to pay them until the game was looking to be solidified.
This is all. It's looking more and more like this was literally they made it up as they went along. I think in some ways.
You have to establish the game before you can establish the details.
Yeah.
So as soon as they were finally able to do that, the news kept rolling.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on. Dark Sakura has some news about money spending.
Well, I mentioned this at the start of the show, but I put money towards the Humble Weekly bundle. And it's actually a big RPG Maker fest, which I've been wanting to get my hands on some of them, but they were a little too pricey for me. So I have RPG Maker in this, like two of the different builds of RPG Maker, several DLC bundles that have music and graphic assets. You also get Skyborn, Sweet Lily Dreams. There are also a few other homebrew titles thrown in there. It comes also with Deadly Sin 2 and To the Moon, which is a game that I absolutely love. So I say it's worth getting. At $6 gets you all of the goodies. And so I put 10 towards it. And right now they're saying if you pay more than 12, you get everything in there, plus you get DLC bundle number 3 and Legionwood 2 Rise of Eternal's Realm. The money's going to, in part, to Indiecade Foundation and Child's Play. So it's only Windows right now, but get it. Just do it. Do it and play To the Moon, and you'll thank me.
I've
had parts of that game that made me sob.
Yeah. Was To the Moon done in this RPG Maker?
I don't recall.
Yes. All the games that are part of this were done in the RPG Maker.
Wow. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, you can publish games with it.
I didn't realize it was that powerful. That's amazing. I have played a little bit of To the Moon, but just enough to go through like some of the intro sequences, not to get to any of the emotional parts you guys are talking about. But
the very beginning of the game is emotional to me.
Yeah, a little bit. It's yeah. There's definitely some feels in the very beginning moments of the game, but you know.
And before anyone asks, I've already passed on my bonus To the Moon. I've gifted it to a friend.
Fair enough.
Because I've already played it. But if somebody is really nice to me, I might just consider getting it for them.
I might pick it up as well. Like,
I thought you already had it.
I do not have RPG Maker, believe it or not.
Well, I meant To the Moon.
Oh no, I have To the Moon. But I was thinking about picking up this bundle.
I thought about doing it too, but see, then again, once again, it's distractions. But it is nice to have stuff that I may use eventually.
Yeah, but I would really encourage you guys. You know, the one thing. I mean, it's one thing to give codes away to friends and stuff. But I've said this before about Humble Bundles. Like, you guys really should just, if you're interested in this, go check it. It's a Humble Bundle. You can pay whatever you want, and it's all for charity. Like, it's don't be too much of a hard ass like I am with Kickstarter. Go check out the Humble Bundles. All right. Let us travel around the world and check out some release dates and look at some games coming to a maybe retail store near you. Maybe not the Humble store, but maybe the Humble store. We'll see. Loki.
Let's see. Not a whole ton of stuff coming out this week. Pretty much just Murdered Soul Suspect, which is out on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, Xbox One, and Xbox 360, actually. Then also, I want to say, I think it's this week. On Friday is the... What was it? Man, I have all this stuff screwed up here. Okay. Anyways, actually, no, that was it. I'm sorry. Murdered Soul Suspect. That is the game of the week.
I would be surprised if it's an awfully slow week.
Nope. I'm sorry. There was one that snuck in here.
God damn, Loki.
Sorry. I forgot. They added this last minute. Hyperdimension Neptunia PP for Vita.
Oh, wow.
It's coming out. I mean, and they've had that. And then, I guess it was this Friday. I was thinking it was the Friday after, but apparently Tomodachi Life on 3DS.
Oh, yeah.
And WildStar on PC. So.
What is the Rob? You would know this. What is this WildStar weekend thing that I've been seeing everybody talk about?
I believe the game soft launched over the weekend. I got to be honest, it's not an MMO I've been following very closely. I have a lot of friends that have been following it, but I believe
I hated it.
You didn't like it? Yeah, I didn't.
No.
Shane was saying some good things about it. I haven't even really looked at it at all. But
it was way too cartoony and way too motiony, and it just made me feel sick. I didn't like it.
Sorry. I hear some people are really into the cartoony look though. So just kind of like, I know Syl, who's from Girls Gone WoW here at VOG and has been on Horde House a couple times. Like she was really into it, and I think was doing the launch weekend. So it just kind of depends what you're into. But yeah, the game I believe had its like early launch or whatever happened this weekend, and of course the whole thing is
a lot of streamers talking
it shit
about
the bed the minute it launched. As these online games
that does
do.
explain why some people were playing it at like 4 a.m. their time, when I know that they don't usually play that late, at least not publicly.
Probably the only time they could get on.
Yeah, just like anything else, when you have enough of an established fan base and everybody has to connect to a central service, gasp, it falls over.
Gasp. But again, Mario Kart 8 did all right. All right, moving along. In Japan, let's check out what's happening with the Japanese releases. On the PlayStation 4 this week, Japan's actually getting a bundle that contains FIFA 14. They're getting a little bundle that has that. There's also a bundle that comes with FIFA 14 and the camera, so you can get all the kit and caboodle there in Japan this week. As far as games go, though, on the PlayStation 4 this week, The New Order Wolfenstein is out. So if you want to check that out in Japan, you can. I believe that game had just come out here in this past week or two. In fact, I see, just talking about recent releases, I see in chat somebody is asking, Codeman is asking about Transistor. I missed talking about that game in my gaming week because that's the game I would have talked about had there been a show last week. But I'll just quickly say, I liked it, and I am liking that game. That's a pretty cool little, I love how you shift between, if you want to do an action-y type of game, you can do that, or you can hit the button and do a more tactical type of game. I love that, switch back and forth. That's a really neat mechanic.
It's like a combination of Parasite Eve and Tactics.
Yeah, I'll have to talk more about Transistor at some point later on, maybe at the top of the next segment, but we're running long for now, so let me get back to these releases. On the PlayStation 3 this week, Rain, also Wolfenstein: The New Order on the PlayStation 3 this week in Japan. On the Xbox 360 in Japan this week, yes, there is stuff on the Xbox 360, because Wolfenstein: The New Order is also on the 360, as well as Ken no Machi no Ihujin Shiro no Okyu comes out. That's the first print edition there.
You want to hear a fun fact about Wolfenstein 360 or on 360?
Uh-oh.
It's 4 discs. Thank you. id Tech 5 or whatever that is.
Wow. I didn't realize that. On the PlayStation Vita, Tokaiden comes out this week. That's a price reduction, however. That moves into the best on the Vita. And on the Wii U this week in Japan, nothing. But next week we'll see the release of One Piece Unlimited World. And lastly but not leastly, on the Nintendo 3DS this week, Persona Q Shadow of the Labyrinth. That is such a big game, it's getting its own 3DS XL set. That is a big release on Nintendo 3DS this week. There's also a game called Card Fight Vanguard Lock on Victory. Let's travel to the UK with Dark Sakura.
Well, coming out on the 3rd is 1001 Spikes for Mac and PC and Wildstar for PC. On the 4th, PlayStation Vita Pets, Tango Fiesta for PC, Ultra Street Fighter 4 for PS3 and Xbox 360. On the 6th is Hyperdimension Idol Neptunia PP, Tomodachi Life, Murdered Soul Suspect on damn near everything. And that's it.
All right. Just a couple more stories for you guys, then Dark Sakura will give us the classic game of the week. But first, Loki.
All right. So, you may remember as of recent, they have been doing a lot of tweaks to some of the stuff on Xbox Live and with the Xbox One, that kind of things. Well, one of the things now they get tweaked is the Games with Gold program. You may remember they were doing 2 games per month, and you get those, for free if you're a gold member. Plus, you get to basically keep them forever once you have downloaded those. Now they're going kind of the route of the PlayStation Plus program, where instead of 2 games per month, now they're going to give away 5 games, at least in June. 3 of those this time are actually going to be on Xbox 360, and then the other 2 are going to be on Xbox One. So for Xbox One in June, you're getting Max the Curse of Brotherhood and Halo Spartan Assault. And then on 360, Charlie Murder, Dark Souls, and Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition. So those are going to be available. But the difference now, though, is you have to be a member of Xbox Live Gold in order to have access to those games. If you, for whatever reason, let your account lapse, you will not be able to play those anymore.
I know people are upset to hear that, but at the same time, that's what Sony's done this whole time, and we were all just waiting for Microsoft to follow suit. They didn't want to give them away. They had to compete.
I'll get into why I think they're doing that in just a second here.
Right.
PlayStation Plus also having a little bit of a tweak as well. Unlike previous, where the Instant Game Collection, they will add a title or a few titles each month, and those will kind of roll on for several months before they finally kind of expire and take them off there. Now they're going to be rotating those through every month. So it's going to be 6 games every month, 2 on PlayStation 4, 2 on PlayStation 3, and 2 on Vita. And I guess they're saying starting in July, did they announce those titles already? I guess, for June. Okay, so June, they're going to have Trine 2, the complete story, Pixel Junk Shooter Ultimate, that's for PlayStation 4. PS3, you get NBA 2K14 and Sly Cooper Thieves in Time, and Vita, Terraria, and Mutant Mudds Deluxe. So that's pretty cool. And also, I guess Sly Cooper Thieves in Time is a cross-buy game, so you technically also get that if you have a PlayStation 3 as well. The reason why I think they're doing it this way now, not only to get more games in there, it's harder for them to negotiate a game to be free for several months versus just 1 month. And I think that's why it's to be able to get more titles in there. That's why I think Xbox or Microsoft's had trouble getting decent titles in there, because now they're basically saying, oh, you get them for free forever. Now if they limit it to just 1 month, and have it where it expires and stuff, that they're able to negotiate, maybe it'll be cheaper for them to get that free title instead of having to pay for downloads for 6 months versus a month.
That makes sense.
At least that's my thought. I don't know.
No, it's perfectly logical. Yeah. By the way, since you brought up the whole PlayStation Plus thing as well, I want to make sure I brought this up at some point, because this came up in the chat room when I was talking about the whole Sony press conference, but for some reason it didn't make our show roll, but this is pretty big news. I don't know if you guys heard, but Sony is actually putting their press conference, not just, where you can watch it live on the internet in a tiny little browser window, they're putting it on movie screens. You can actually go to movie theaters. There's certain ones around the country, not all of them, but think of it like one of those Fathom events or something when they do the Metropolitan Opera or something on the big screen. Basically, Sony is taking that type of thing over for a night and presenting their press conference in theaters. And I know you can snatch up the tickets online. I imagine a lot of them are already gone. But I thought that was a pretty interesting little way.
Is it free?
Yeah, totally free. And they're saying that there might even be little giveaways. I imagine there'll probably be some type of Sony representative. They probably have retail reps around the country, so they probably have a representative at each of these showings. Probably trying to get people jazzed up, talk about Sony. Why not create these mob mentality environments where people are going to get really psyched for these games? I thought it was a pretty clever little idea, and putting a lot of these trailers for high definition, high frame rate games on a movie screen is going to be interesting. So it's like going to your friend's house who has the big screen TV, only this is a really big screen TV. So
well, hold on a second.
Yeah.
You just said something really silly.
Huh.
Yes, the resolution in a movie theater is better, but when projectors stream at 24 frames per second versus our 60 frames per second monitors.
True, but is that how fast the high def?
I admittedly don't know if they do things different for live.
I don't think
events
they don't stream in 60 frames per second, from those events.
I thought they made a big freaking deal about the whole Lord of the Rings was in this ultra high frame rate.
48.
Yeah, and some
but that's
theaters
still
have this.
slower than 60 hertz freaking TV.
It's still probably going to be better than it'll look over the internet.
Not according to what everybody thought of The Hobbit. Let's be real here.
True.
Movie theaters are 24. I don't know if they do things differently for non-film, studio mastered, that kind of stuff. But that was just a silly statement.
Well, they've tried doing 60. They did, was it 48 for Video Game High School last season. Whenever it was in the video game, they double the frame rate on it. But the whole thing was shot in 48, or the whole thing they had it in a 48 frames per second format, but they just doubled the they doubled each frame for the 24 portions. But they have actually, I think, built their own player to do that because it wasn't something that you can stream. So I don't think that you're going to really miss anything.
All right, well, let's move on. This is something you might see at the Sony press conference, or you might see it at the Microsoft one, or neither one, but it'll probably be on the show floor at E3 somewhere, and that is the rumblings of a new Mortal Kombat game. And thanks to a poster that was spotted on Reddit, there was a whole little thing that says, "Who's next?" And it showed the Mortal Kombat dragon logo and the cracked bones of a spine. And you might remember that the last Mortal Kombat game in 2011 had the whole X-ray maneuvers and things like that. So, that would probably be in character that if there is a Mortal Kombat 2 coming, which is really Mortal Kombat 10 at this 9 10 at
10.
God, I'm losing count. So wherever they're at, it would this would probably be a part of it, the whole X-ray thing. This, in addition to, by the way, that Ed Boon, who is with NetherRealm Studios, who made the last Mortal Kombat game, who's also a co-creator of the game, has been posting all these cryptic messages on Twitter. So I think it's a given that we're getting Mortal Kombat. It's just a matter of when they choose to announce it. Although one of the countdown clocks that he's been running on Twitter ends tomorrow. So there'll probably be a little bit of that hype leading up to E3. So looks like that's one of the things you're going to see coming out of E3 is a new Mortal Kombat game. Very curious to see where they go with it. The last Mortal Kombat game was very good. And so I'm excited to seeing one. And I imagine if there is a Mortal Kombat 2, I'm using my quotey fingers, if there's a Mortal Kombat 2, it's going to be on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. It's going to look, even better. And it's probably going to have a roster that's pretty impressive. So I'm very curious to see. And I want to see if Freddy Krueger comes back. So, all right. Anyhow, let's go back to a time when gaming was a little simpler. And you know what? You didn't have a roster of like 40 characters in your fighting game plus 10 DLC characters featuring Freddy Krueger. You had like 12, and you liked it. It's the classic game of the week. We're going to take a trip down memory lane with Dark Sakura as she explores. In this case, it looks like a fighting game, similar to Mortal Kombat, that is a classic. Dark Sakura, dive in the gaming vault and find a game that the kids should be playing this week.
The game I picked this week is Galaxy Fight Universal Warriors. I don't know if anyone's ever remembered Galaxy Fight. It was kind of an interesting game. It was done by Sunsoft for the Neo Geo MVS. It was their second fighting game that came out after the Super Famicom spin-off of the Hebereke series, the Sugoi Hebereke. And this one is their first sideways 2D fighting game. They also did another fighting game after this called Waku Waku 7. Do you remember that? That might sound more familiar.
No. You know what's funny is I think I've actually seen this one.
Yeah. After that, in 1998, they worked with a company called Santa Claus to do Astra Superstars, another fighting game. But Galaxy Fight was just a really interesting fighting game. It sort of serves as a prequel to Waku Waku 7. They use the same engine. And they have a few things in common, including their mid-boss bonus kun. You play as one of 8 characters, and you go throughout the solar system to defeat opponents that inhabit each of the planets before fighting Felden to settle their score. It's a 4-button layout, of course, because it's a Neo Geo game. The first 3 are used for striking attacks, and the 4th is a taunt. But using the buttons together, of course, to special moves. It doesn't have anything extra, including like new super bars or anything, as other games that came out around that time had super bars. So this is pretty much an old school fighting game, just one of the last old school fighting games for the Neo Geo. You have all kinds of different characters. You have your bruisers, you have your quick ones. The names are Alvin, you have Bonus Kun, who I just mentioned, who's actually a parody of Ryu from Street Fighter. Gunter, you have Felden, I think it's G-Dun, Juri Kazuma, Musafar, who is a robot, Rolf, Rumi, Ro, and Yakopu, who is a pet rabbit. So yeah, it did come out on the AES home console systems. It also did have a Neo Geo CD version. There was arranged music for the AES version too, though that was pretty cool. It was ported to the Sega Saturn. It came out on PlayStation only in Japan. In 2008, the Neo Geo CD version of Galaxy Fight was included with Waku Waku 7 in the Neo Geo Online collection that came out on PS2. It was also there were just all kinds of different versions that came out, and now Galaxy Fight.
I laughed at her little. I'm sorry. I laughed at this girl, Rumi, her little victory pose, because she she looks like she's wearing these gigantic mitts, and she just did a big victory pose where she puts one hand in the air and the other hand in the air, and then her boobs are way too big and they jiggle. It's that typical '90s fighting game girl thing.
Well, at any rate, there was the AES version of this was ported to the Wii Virtual Console in Japan on March 23rd, 2010. The soundtrack was released by Pony Canyon on March 17th, 1995, and it has all the background music, sound effects, and voice samples from the arcade version. Music was composed by Masato Araikawa and Takuya Sasaki, and performed by Jun Kojime. So, there you go. Galaxy Fight. It's a weird game. With boobs.
And
for playing
sure.
as a rabbit.
And some other characters. I like these
named
cute
Yakupu.
I like these cute little characters in the background who bounce up and down feverishly.
It's kind of old school, though, isn't it?
It is. Really, it's very, Neo Geo fighting game. That's all you have to say. It's a Neo Geo fighting game.
It is. I mean, and I'm not going to say there's anything super special about it, but it's a fun little fighting game.
Well, then isn't that what games are supposed to be?
Yeah, I guess.
All right.
Ew, God, what the hell are you making me look at, chat room?
What did they
Flamin'
do?
Hot Cheetos burrito.
Oh, Lord. All right, there it is. Your classic game of the
Act
week.
that is gross. Stop it.
Your classic game of the week. Less gross. Galaxy Fight on the Neo Geo. All right. Wow, this is a long show tonight. I guess we have to. We just broke 2 hours for Part A. We have to make up for lost time from last week, don't we, kids? So anyway, we will be right back. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, there's rapid fire news, the Fugal question of the week, and plenty more show right after this quick break when we're back with more of Orange Lounge Radio. Welcome back, everybody, to Orange Lounge Radio. We are live on this June 1st, 2014, with the 554th episode of our show. I hope you guys will also come back next week, because next week, of course, June 8th, will be 555, or as Dark Soccer, I believe, called it a couple weeks ago, the Previl show, because it's 555. So we'll be having that, but that is actually our pre-E3 show. And every pre-E3, we've got to bring back Listless to do our official E3 predictions. So count on that for next week. You're going to be here, right, Jason?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. We'll have a...
I'm going to have there are certain occasions where I will make YouTube videos fancy again.
Yeah. Listless is going to be one of them. I know we haven't been doing the OLR games as much lately. There's just been a lot of other news and other things to clearly fill time. We're way over time tonight, and I got to keep things moving here. But Listless is always a good one to bring back. We got to do Match Game again eventually too, and come up with some new OLR games. What was the last time we played Beat the Host? That was like 200 episodes ago, probably.
That turned into a sideshow game, didn't it?
It's probably.
Guys on a show and that
Well,
kind of stuff?
I think it started there. So, actually, a lot of people don't know this. Listless actually started on, to be fair, it was actually ripped off another TV show, but we started doing it on my college radio show back in 90, God, what year would that have been? About 97, 98 when we were doing it. That's when Listless was born. Let me put it this way, Jason. Do you know who came up with the name Listless? My ex-girlfriend. So.
That says a lot.
Oh, is Jason's Oh no, Jason's muted. I'm sorry, Jason.
Wah,
oh
wah.
God.
Well,
wah,
they missed
wah.
my reveal, but that's okay. I haven't said anything meaningful.
No,
I did. I was just gonna say that fret not, people who keep up with YouTube. There are certain occasions where I will put work into having everything visualized, and Listless is going to be a big one because it is very, very notable.
Sorry for the dead area, guys. You gotta enjoy live radio.
Womp womp.
Yeah, my mixing board over here is kind of crappy because one of the ports I don't think really works, so I have to kind of do things in a jig-jag pattern, and if I mess it up, then somebody's mic doesn't get turned on. I've done it to Jamie. I've done it to Jason. I hate it. So, yeah. Sorry.
Rude.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do
Rude.
that. So yeah, where was I anyway? I was talking about my ex-girlfriend was the one that came up with the name Listless, and we're actually still good friends today. She does Rocky Horror stuff like I do. She does it all in the Bay Area. She's also the one that got me into that. So yeah, it's just funny. So, but that's how old that whole segment is. So we'll be playing that again next week. Something to look forward to. All right, let us get into some rapid fire news. We've still got plenty of show to go, so let's get to it. Loki.
All right. So let's see. Starting off here, we've got Arma 3. Now this is kind of funny. They had a little bit of like, I don't know if this was back from April Fools. Oh, it was April Fools. I do remember seeing this now because they did a parody of that Jean-Claude Van Damme, the split video thing. But Arma Kart is now real DLC. So now they have kart racing in Arma 3. So you can check that out if you want. It's at $1.99 for that expansion. And they have, I guess, a number of track objectives and checkpoint races. And then, of course, I guess they're saying that they're going to launch a major gameplay expansion for Arma by late 2015. And as of right now, they have sold 1 million copies to date. So not bad. Kind of interesting to check out kart racing. I'm kind of excited about this. I've talked a lot about Goat Simulator, but they're doing their big 1.1 patch, which is coming on June 3rd. Now, it's not just a patch for the game. They add a ton of stuff to this. They have a brand new map in the game. They've got a bunch of new goats in there as well. Split screen multiplayer for up to 4 people. Goat parkour. And and they even have what they're teasing now is a Minecraft-like goat that allows you to build a grass box by the looks of it. So that's going to be in there as well. And it's just going to be one glitchy, fun game. The best part about it, it's free. It's a free patch. So you'll be getting all that content starting June 3rd. And last but not least, Watch Dogs. They've broken Ubisoft's day one sales record. Definitely a lot of people were waiting for the game. In fact, several months because it was supposed to be out in November. 12.5 million copies within the first 5 months of release was the original record. That was held by Assassin's Creed 3. Apparently, though, Watch Dogs did say what they actually sold. No, hasn't said what they've sold exactly, but it sold more copies than Assassin's Creed 3. So, well, I guess we'll just have to wait for the NPD numbers to get the actual number of copies sold.
Yes, it'll be interesting to see if it keeps momentum too, because it definitely seemed like a lot of people were really excited about Watch Dogs, and then obviously Mario Kart 8 has been dominating the conversation over the weekend, but now that those games will both be out, it'll be interesting to see kind of that longevity factor, because the Watch Dogs reviews seem to be a little tepid to me. Seems like there was a lot more hype behind that game than where people actually ended up kind of feeling about it. So.
I have a feeling, there's going to be Grand Theft Auto 5 DLC announcements probably at E3.
Yeah.
Because they've been prepping like a major story DLC in there. I mean, they're slowly adding things in each patch to kind of like prep it for the new stuff.
Things have been kind of quiet on the Grand Theft Auto
So
front.
I think we're going to see a lot from that. So that might put a little bit of a damper there. But then again, not to say that Ubisoft doesn't have any DLC plans. They have a season pass thing available for Watch Dogs. So, but the summers now pre-summer is a good time to release a game because there's not a whole ton coming out during the summer.
Jason, what do you have for us?
Bunch of quick, fun little things as the reason why we call this
Rapid Fire News.
Rapid Fire News.
Yeah, that's the second time my brain decided to just stop. That's wonderful. Hi.
You could just make a name up and we'd probably believe you. If you said quick,
I kind of I was thinking lightning something. Shit.
If you said quick fire news, I'd probably look at you funny, but I'd be like, okay, just roll with it.
I also usually don't do this segment, so that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. Anyways, NES Remix 2. Some individuals are not able to actually unlock all of the titles in the game. The remix producer Hayashida posted an entry to Miiverse in practically like every language too, that was denoting that there is a secret code to unlock all the titles you have not yet, or if you just want to do it from the start. The hint is star test clear. And if you're not going to look at the comments and just look it up, the secret is it is an anagram for start, select, R, A. Start the game, hold, start, select, R, press A. Boom, game starts. You have all the titles unlocked, and you can go crazy with playing the rest of the challenges involved in each of them. Capcom, quite notably, finally disbanded Mega Man Legends 3, and there's a bit of hemming and hawing about whether or not that game is actually going to happen. The producer wants it to, but, well, he's not with Capcom anymore. So when Capcom fails, fans unite, and a team of people a team of people under the name of Jisaku-3 has the goal of creating a prototype version of Mega Man Legends 3 in Unity. It is being based off the media that has been released in footage so far, and there is a video available out there looking for Mega Man Legends 3 Unity prototype. They're going to give it a shot, and we'll see what the internet bickerfest holds to see should this actually come to fruition and the team of people being capable enough to actually create something. Snark aside, this sounds like a really fun thing. I did not get very far in Legends 2. Legends 1, I absolutely adored. I would love to see the series continue in some way. There is a lot of fun, friendliness, mechanics, that kind of stuff in this game that I would like to see again. Last but not least, a museum in New Mexico has identified 700 copies of all of the copies of E.T. that were unearthed last month. It was already a month ago. Jesus Christ. As of the dig last month, 700 copies have been identified as capable of being sold. They are going to be appraised and handed over to a museum for curation, displaying, and selling, because they are now artifacts of a day gone by, and urban legends aplenty, and everything that was talked about in the lead up to that movie. Exactly.
I can't help but think, how much is one of these really worth?
No prices announced yet.
Because yes, I realize they have 700 or whatever, but there's thousands of more still in the ground.
You're essentially buying garbage.
Thank you. You are buying garbage.
But they will be appraised. They will be invariably cleaned up superficially, just ground dirt.
Great. So you're going to get garbage that isn't garbage anymore.
With a certificate of authenticity.
More garbage.
We authenticate this garbage as garbage.
That's what artifacts are, though. It's you're buying into a memory.
Oh my God.
You're buying into a story.
Why would you buy into a memory of terrible? I mean, it's just like I remember this game being shit. I bought it.
Play it, and
it's shit.
And it sat with shit for 20 years. Oh my God. I'm sorry. It's people will buy it.
Well, if you're less, if there's less snark from you guys, then they will be available.
There's a part of me that's like, maybe for $20 I'd do it.
Good luck.
I know it's $20
buys you one of the ones that they couldn't restore.
Yeah, $20 buys me the dog shit that it sat next to.
Yeah, it actually probably buys you 20 of them that they wouldn't be willing to sell.
Yeah, probably more like 200 if that. It's probably even more. We'll see. Yeah. Anyway, all right, Dark Sakura.
Oh yeah, stuff.
Yes, not just garbage.
Well, Mario Kart 8 is going to be bringing some DLC in Japan at any rate. They've got apparently a deal with Mercedes. So Mario will be driving around a teeny little Mercedes cart. Yeah, whatever.
Hey, I'm excited that DLC is going to be a thing for this Mario Kart. Even if whatever free Mercedes car, I'm hoping this means tracks. Yes, tracks, Nintendo, tracks. Hello, tracks. Anybody, tracks?
Maybe.
All right, tracks.
Wasn't that a bad game or something?
Actual battle mode tracks and not shit. Just saying.
An ET track.
I mean, fuck. If they can pull off battle mode on the Nintendo 64. I think the Wii U is more powerful than the Nintendo 64.
All right, we can sit here and bitch all night. Sorry, Jamie.
At any rate, there is going to be a Famicom game coming out to the West. Finally, it will be on actually the European 3DS Virtual Console on May 29th. I don't see anything on a U.S. date for this, but it's the mysterious Muramasa Castle. That it's the game that Nintendo Land's attraction Takamaru's Ninja Castle is based off of, but it will be coming out for $4.49 in pounds, $4.99 euro, and then last but not least, as soon as it loads, we can say goodbye to Mythic Entertainment.
Depressing.
quite. The article still won't load. Sorry.
That's all right. That's pretty much all there is to say.
Yeah, that's all there is to say.
EA closes yet another studio, and these are the guys that brought you Dark Ages of Camelot and Warhammer Online, which I understand was not the big success they wanted it to be, but EA fucks up another studio that they bought. Good job. Thumbs up.
That's my reaction.
Huh? Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, though, Mythic didn't have a grand slam in their last couple releases, but there's a lot of fans of the Camelot game that is very upset, which I can understand. So sorry to hear it to those that work there. All right, let's go to the Fugal Question of the Week. In happier news, we talk to you guys every week in a segment we call the Fugal Question of the Week. You take Facebook and Google Plus and slam it together, and you get one hell of a social network.
It's Radio Controller.
Here's what we asked the Fuglers this week. That's my new name, the Fuglers. We are back. Meet the Fuglers, starring Neil Patrick Harris. We are back this week after a week off, and did you hear there's some nice sales on RPG Maker on the Humble Bundle and Steam this week? I forgot to mention, the Steam weekend sale was RPG Maker 4, so they kind of got in on this too.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Between that and Loki's talk about game building and my stories about the love of ZZT, an early Game Maker game, this question is all about creation. Have you ever created a game, be it big or small? What was it about? What inspired you to do it? So when we talk about game making, we sadly don't have a lot of answers, but we'll read what we got. Now, Jonko, one of our buddies from Koopa Club, answered the question. I don't know if this is a game he actually made or if he thought this question was, what is a game you'd like to see made? But we'll roll with it. We'll just pretend Jonko made this game in his head. He said, well, we already have first-person shooters and third-person shooters, but what about a second-person shooter? You play as a blind assassin who has the power to possess the eyesight of others. Your objective is to possess the eyesight of your enemy and then hunt down and kill that person while seeing from their perspective. Or would a second-person shooter just be a game about shooting yourself in the head? Damn, Atlas already beat me to that one with Persona 3. I feel like that is a game.
There was a game that consisted of... you had sight into like zombie creatures or something of the sort, and you could look into their eyes and figure out where the safe path is, what they can and can't see based off your route. I don't suppose sounds familiar to anyone. It was on the PlayStation 2, I remember, but for the life of me, I can't think of the name
I'm
of the
sure
game.
the chat will jump. That's why I love having a live chat room, because they think of that stuff when we don't.
Japanese, like 1400s, classic Japanese kind of game. It was in that sort of mythos.
Kaijudo says, call it Eye of the Beholder.
Already exists.
Does it? Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a D&D license.
Oh, yeah. It was also a movie, I think, with Ashley Judd, which I'm sure the two have nothing in common.
What was the...
But they should. Ashley Judd's kind of
awesome.
awesome.
What was the PS3... Eye of Judgment. Never mind.
Equally terrible.
MXC says Siren. Justin says Geist. Bonds 006 says Geist.
Geist sounds familiar.
Yeah, it does. It does. I think that's
I know
it.
of Siren, but I don't think that's it. I'll look it up.
Look it up. To the wiki. All right. Meanwhile, while he looks that up, going to our buddy Renee from Koopa Club, who says, yes, I have, but it was a vampire LARP, or live-action roleplay, which has the additional factor of players doing the weirdest and most random shit you could think of. But when people told you how much they enjoyed the game and chasing down a zombie gorilla, it makes it all worthwhile. So your game involves zombie gorillas? Tell me more.
I LARPed.
Yeah. I never did LARP, but I did D&D.
I did Vampire LARP, which is the nerdiest of LARPing ever.
All those games, role-playing, be it table, live action, whatever, involved imagination and creating.
Dude, I'm still playing D&D on Saturdays.
Nice.
I had to order more dice.
All right. Moving on. Andy R. says, I made some small games in high school, took a web design course that ended up being pretty much just Flash in our bi-weekly projects. I made a couple of games. Most of them were terrible clones. Sly Red Panda says, I made a Flappy Bird clone with Ornacia from RuPaul's Drag Race. I saw that game on Twitter. Did RuPaul's Drag Race or Vivacious ever see that? You need to do a small update and send it out again. If not, you need to call the game Mother Has Arrived. Anyway, I've made some Unreal 3 mods with UDK, starting to experiment with UE4, working with RPG Maker VX Ace right now. Twine and Construct 2 are great for beginners. Hitstun says, making games is fun. I come up with game ideas much faster than I build them. I got my start with some crappy TI-83 basic games in high school before moving on to GameMaker 6, HTML5, and Unity 2D. We used Torque Game Builder to make The Adventures of Thong Girl, a 2D platforming beat-em-up with a scantily clad superhero that shoots lasers out of her butt.
That's awesome.
Sounds a bit like Powdered Toast Man's premise.
Check out that game and my Ludum Dare games at bakamostudios.com, BAKAMO studios.com. That's Baka as in stupid and Mo as in moron. We're three stupid morons from Columbus making games.
That's awesome.
Bravo.
And yes, I will check those out.
I you know what? It's not often I just let people come on this show and hawk whatever it is they're selling, but if you're selling me girls shooting lasers out of their butt from your game studio called Stupid Moron Games, you know what? Props to you, mama. All right. Going over to Google Plus where we have a couple answers. I'm sorry, nothing's going to top that, you guys. All right, Dark Tetsuya. Can't wait till I play the game. Dark Tetsuya says, I really wanted to get into Unity, but ran into hangups trying to get the programming code to work. Frown. Prior to that, I wrote a few games in the Games Factory. Search on the VOG forums. I made a post about them. Nice plug. Lastly, AJ Twist says, I tried making a fighting game on Flash nearly a decade ago. Hitboxes and life bars are hard, but I did make a card game. Cutting perfectly shaped cards is hard. Inspirations, anime, Tekken, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, and the love of creating. There you go. That game's getting linked in our chat room right now. You're going to see a spike in downloads this week. Check that out. That's awesome.
It looks like MXC was correct. Of the two, Geist was a GameCube name. It didn't sound any bit familiar, but Siren seems like it matches up. I don't remember playing more than like 20 minutes of it, but definitely something I want to revisit. Not game production, but production on a game system. When I was in high school, a friend of mine had a MTV Music Generator for the PS2, and he actually put together some very interesting songs, just kind of mixing the samples and instruments available to you in the game itself. He didn't have... There was some peripheral. I think it was just like a Karaoke Revolution microphone that you could use to record new stuff and put it in. But he actually did something with it, and I still have the exported songs on my computer in my library to this day, I think.
All right, well...
I was going to say real quick.
Yeah.
I made a couple games back when Click and Play was a thing. In Windows 3.1, yes. I made a game called Shoot First, Ask Questions Later, and it was basically a game where it was like a shooting game and you shot like hedgehogs. Like there was evil hedgehogs, and it was so stupid.
You should have made Shoot First, Ask Questions Later, too, as one of your projects.
It's too dumb.
Somebody needs to remake Boom.
Jamie, have you ever made a game? I guess you did talk about the role play.
I did make an environment in D&D. Nice. I mean, that's about it. And I've, created my own written languages. That's about as close as I've gotten.
Very cool. I used to make little things in ZZT, but nothing really cool. Yeah. All right. Well, joining us here, walking into the studio, taking a break from Mario Kart 8 to bless us with his presence. Say hello to Shane.
Hi.
And Shane wanted to answer the question. Make sure you talk loud.
I made DDR. Bye.
Wait a minute, Shane. You didn't make DDR. You did not create DDR. Oh, he wanted to rub it in that he helped to make DDR. Yeah, well, where's DDR now? Do you still work?
It's crap.
Do you still work for them, Shane?
No.
I'm just saying I could remake DDR, but I have the concept. It's up in my head. It's just getting it out on program. So.
All right.
Someday I will, or make something that's like it.
One of these days, Shane, one of these days, because I know you still talk to all of them. I want you to get all your buddies from the Konami days and get them all over here, and we're just going to dish. Because I know that's an episode people want to hear. All right. Anyway, moving on. Let's get into some more news here, because we're running a little long. So look, Shane has a follow-up. Hurry up, Shane. It's a 5-hour show tonight.
Just get Flacco Jones over here, and we'll talk about how he got drunk at work all the time.
That would explain why some of the steps you made were so bad.
He wasn't drunk then. It was just he wasn't very good at making steps.
Might have been better if he was drunk.
Just kidding. I never played him, so I don't know.
Dungeon Buster in chat says, a Shane appears wielding the power of DDR. All right. Ultra Mix isn't even backwards compatible. He just yelled from the other room, you're not backwards compatible. Nice retort. All right. Let's get into some other news. Loki.
And we had to announce it officially news because it leaked out everywhere news. Battlefield Hardline was announced this week. It's going to have its official reveal on June 9th when it was originally going to have its official reveal and not previously when all the different assets and shit started leaking out. Or internal gameplay video that they had from 6 months ago. That's fantastic when it was, codename Omaha. But Battlefield Hardline is going to be a cops versus criminals Battlefield type game, and kind of think a little bit along the lines of like a Grand Theft Auto 5 meets Payday in like the Battlefield type gameplay. So you're going to be doing heists, you're going to be fighting off against criminals, police, and whatnot. So it looks pretty cool. And of course, supposed to be coming out later this year, and they're gonna show it off at E3. I'm actually kind of excited about it. It looks pretty sweet. It's kind of like all the excitement that they were saying they was gonna have with the heist in Grand Theft Auto 5, which are kind of lame, for the most part. And I know with online they're doing these heists, and it's just still not very exciting. But this, all the Battlefield gameplay has always looked exciting, so I kind of want to check it out.
All right. I'm sure there'll be more to come at E3. All right. Moving on to some other quick updates here. This is still more fallout from the whole closure of GameSpy and all that. But the good news is Epic is serving up a patch to help Unreal Tournament 3 get off those servers. That patch is now out, and it will send players to new servers, meaning Unreal Tournament 3 no longer tied to GameSpy. You can check out that patch, which will work with the Steam version of Unreal Tournament 3. You can check that all out at epicgames.com if you want to do that. Because, of course, there is no more GameSpy. Speaking of games getting off canceled services, Games for Windows Live is going to be shutting its doors in August, so Capcom is getting Super Street Fighter 4 the hell off of the service. So Super Street Fighter 4 is now available on Steam. That's the new platform of choice, and you can get that on Steam at 75% off. It's only $8 on Steam before June 1st. That's not so bad at all. Now, here's the problem, is that because of the shift from Games for Windows Live, you may lose some of your DLC costumes. DLC costumes that were issued to the retail Games for Windows Live version of the game are tied to the game's physical disc and are not able to jump to Steam along with the rest of the components. So, again, one of the downsides of this DLC, it's always only ever temporary. Anyway, at least those games will continue in one way or another.
Rob, all things are temporary.
I guess that's true.
Everything ends.
That's true.
Even us.
That's right. We're slowly dying right now.
Right now. All we are is dust in the wind. Dust. Wind. Dude.
What a nice positive show we're having tonight.
Hey, I quoted Bill
and
Ted.
Hey, have a great E3, everybody. You're going to die.
I was just quoting Bill and Ted in that last bit.
I know,
Okay.
I know.
You're gonna die soon. You're gonna die soon. It's not cold in here. You're just dying.
Thank you, Sarah Silverman. All right, moving on. Dark Stalker. Hopefully you have some more positive news for us.
Nope. It's all shit.
Uh-oh.
Representative Bob Latta, who is a Republican from Ohio, filed legislation that would prevent the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, from attempting to regulate broadband internet. So yeah, this is more net neutrality bullshit. Turns out that this guy, he was funded by a telecommunications campaign group.
Of course.
Of course. He received $51,000 from cable company interests since for about 2 years, ending December 2013. And there is a group called Open Secrets. It's a campaign finance watchdog group. He was one of 28 House members who lobbied to drop net neutrality after they got kind of paid off. So he got part of his money, looks like, money from AT&T, money from a National Cable and Telecommunications Association, Time Warner Cable, Verizon, American Cable Association, CenturyLink, and Comcast. And his bill is to, quote, amend the Communications Act of 1934 to limit the authority of the Federal Communications Commission over providers of broadband internet access service. He wants to keep the internet open and accessible. No, he wants to keep the internet monetized for the people who are paying him off.
I just still find it so weird how we are trying to alter a global service. I mean, when you start to create that some sites work differently than other sites, isn't that how the internet works in, like, China? I mean, granted, I might be being a little bit extreme and shocking, but this is shocking.
It's not that they slow it down; they just plain block them.
Oh, I know that's what they do in China. But my point is like, what's really the difference at the end of the day? Okay, maybe all right. Some people might have very impassioned answers to that, but my point is that this whole net neutrality thing. This is going a little too far, especially when she's talking about things like this. So I'm just gonna say, y'all. Let your congressperson know that you do not support candidates who, are supporting
vote the bastards out, and they can eat a bowl of dicks.
And
well, if they don't do anything about it, if you keep telling your congressman to do something, and you have a bunch of people doing that, and they still kind of sit there with their thumbs up their ass, then vote them out.
Vote, 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 vote. I realize it's a worldwide show, but participate in your government, however you're able to. And here in America, we vote, so please vote.
Thankfully, he has no co-sponsors, so it really is just him. The bill has gone to the House Committee on Energy and Commerce. So yeah, vote the bastards out. Send them a bowl of dicks. Hopefully they're candied dicks, but instead of actually tasting like candy, they taste like, I don't know, pee.
They taste like ET cartridges that have been buried in the ground.
They taste like the tears of children, which is probably what I would say some conservatives feed on.
Isn't that a Jelly Belly?
You just take the cartridges from the buried ETs, you grind them up into a fine powder. You take the tears of crying children, you make it into a paste, form the molds into little penises, and then mail those off to
Here, a bag of dicks. No, you know what? What?
I just want you guys have really active imaginations right now, and it's a little bit alarming. Like, I'm just saying. Anyway,
so there's something really, really wrong with this article, and I think I just saw it explained at the end of it. Bob Latta, the legislation that he's filing would prevent the FCC from attempting to regulate broadband internet service as a public utility under Title II of the Telecommunications Act. That is what people that are fighting for net neutrality want to have happen. That's not what the FCC said they were going to do. They were going to allow fast lanes, breaking net neutrality. Mm-hmm. So, first of all, both of these are steps in the wrong direction. Bob Latta is fucking it over, period. But the FCC was going to anyway. So there's like a whole second layer of this article. He doesn't know what the fuck is going on in the first place. I want it to be filed to be classified as a public utility. I want it to be.
And I believe that as well. Yes.
But and he's preventing that, so the problem is still there. The problem is he's doing it by preventing the FCC from doing it, which is irrelevant. So file this one under left hand not knowing what the right hand's doing.
Well, he's just making sure that they can't do that.
Sure,
because they could change their mind.
He's protecting his little side paycheck.
It's a preemptive strike because we know the FCC is under a lot of pressure to change their. That's what's happening.
Sure,
and there are calls from other Congress people. I believe. Don't quote me on this because I'm going off of like what I think I read a couple weeks ago. I believe Al Franken has been trying to get internet put as a utility. So I think this is a preemptive strike against that. So
yeah. Anyway. Not any better. It's just there's like I said, a whole second layer of just fucked upness here.
Yeah. So, all right. Anyhow,
I'm still all for moving to Finland.
Let's go to Ake Ripper's house in Sweden. We can stay with Ake Ripper.
I don't know that.
Does he still listen to this show? I don't know.
But okay. I would say that we should move to Australia, but right now Tony Abbott is a big. He can eat shit.
We don't need to move anywhere. We need to fix this country we've got. That's what we need to do.
We need to divide this country into 4 smaller, more easily administrated countries, and mine's going to be called Awesome.
All right,
because
let's move on.
Where people will be fed on dreams and rainbows.
We could talk about Jamie's plans to take over the world all night, but we do have to keep moving on.
I don't want to take over the world. Too much fucking work.
Loki.
Well, we can talk about world domination. It's kind of fun. Steam, you may remember they have their Linux machines that are supposed to be coming out at some point. Well, they probably aren't. Apparently, the Steam controller, which is supposed to be coming out sometime in 2014, is now getting a release window of sometime in 2015. So, people are thinking it's implied that the Steam machines won't be coming out until 2015. Which, honestly, at this point, I don't know. To me, the Steam machines don't really sound that interesting yet. It's like, you haven't really sold me yet on why I need one. That's pretty much where I'm at right now. So,
maybe this delay is to kind of help make that argument?
Or maybe add some features to SteamOS, because I don't know where they're at with, integration with, like, certain apps and stuff like that. Because I know they were doing like some basic like music app, but they don't really have a whole ton of features yet.
All right. Let's move on just for time's sake. Jason.
Continue. Ow. Way to bite your tongue, Jason. In further, everybody hears about Kickstarter news. Reading Rainbow, fronted quite obviously by LeVar Burton, landed only, 4 or 5 days ago at this point? And in the first day, already beat its $1 million goal. It is on pace to be the first double-digit in the millions funded Kickstarter that I know of, at any rate.
Why can't we elect LeVar Burton to Congress? That's what I want. Clearly, America loves LeVar Burton, and rightfully so.
There is some very interesting backlash against this Kickstarter, but I'm not well informed enough to comment.
There's always some goddamn which
just saying.
Isn't that ironic that I'm the one saying this? But there's always some goddamn backlash. You know what I mean? But here's the difference. I like to think my opinions were well thought out and reasonable. This other stuff, just stop.
I'm right. You're not.
Exactly.
I thought about it.
Exactly.
You just came up with it. Wait. Reading Rainbow obviously has already had a successful Kickstarter, and they are laying down the stretch goals. The next goal that I don't think they've hit yet, but I'm going to look, is 5 million. And when they do that, their intention is to bring the media created by Reading Rainbow to, pretty much fucking everything. Phones, Android, game consoles like the Xbox and PlayStation, set-top boxes, a la Apple TV, Roku, and I guess Fire TV as well.
I could have Reading Rainbow on the PlayStation.
You could have it on literally everything you own in this house.
That's
and not just PBS and the
so
anarchy
it's like
that is.
Reading Linux, basically.
And Windows.
Oh, okay.
And ARM and...
Rama says $3.2 million is the current tally.
With
Good
30
God.
days to go.
Oh my God! This have the potential to make more money than any other Kickstarter ever
That I know of.
How much did Ouya make? $6 million?
I mean, I don't know. Too much money for what they did with it. Let's put it that way.
All right.
I saw like an update the other day that like certain titles are coming to Ouya. I'm like, Ouya's still around?
Just a hair shy of 8.6 is what Ouya landed on.
Okay. There's still a long ways to go before Reading Rainbow.
But he still has 30 days.
I was just shocked at the supermarket today when I looked at, they had the counter of the DVDs they're trying to hawk it, and I was like, Veronica Mars, the movie. Oh yeah.
That was the thing. Oh yeah. All right. I'd be excited to see like a Reading Rainbow app on console.
Why don't they do this for like other PBS programs? Because
didn't Sesame
do
Street
they get enough funding for PBS?
Sesame Street had a Connect thing, didn't they? That was one of the big things they were touting when the Connect
they
first
had
launched.
a thing for Sesame Street, but they only did like 2 seasons of it, and that was it.
I don't know. Maybe it's just, my older age, but PBS isn't like what I remember. Like, they don't have Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood or
Yeah, it's
3-2-1 Contact or
The Electric Company.
yeah, the Electric Company or Square One
Electric Company,
Television.
I thought it was coming back, though.
Is it?
I thought it was.
So
Weren't
what
they
is-
rebooting that?
What does PBS educate the kids with now besides Sesame Street?
We're not young enough to be able to answer that question.
They've got The Cat in the Hat.
Wasn't
which
PBS also fucking Barney?
Barney is on PBS.
And Lamb Chops.
Oh, but
Lamb Chops play along. Lamb immediately afterwards.
She
at least
died,
for me.
though.
Oh, yeah.
Well, those socks only last so long.
Wow. You're going to special hell.
Anyways,
done.
so they've got that. They have Caillou, which teaches the kids about whining. They've got Dinosaur Train, and what other crap does my son watch?
All right. Rama says the most funded Kickstarter was the Pebble Watch, 10.2 million.
So I guess I lied about the tens of millions backing, but they are on track to shatter this very quickly.
Interesting. 3-2-1 Contact came back. Get out. Oh, I miss Mr. Rogers, though. And you can't recreate Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. You know what else I miss from PBS? I'm sorry, I'm just making this show longer, but God damn it, for people like Mr. Rogers and Bob Ross, I'm going to take a moment to remember because Bob Ross was the best. The best.
And
Fluffy
This Old
white
House.
clouds. This Old House was awesome. And as much as I like Norm, though, I do miss Bob Vila doing it.
You know what PBS does have, though? Downton Abbey. There's that.
And you know what? In the Bay
Seriously,
Area,
PBS show.
It's a BBC show, but PBS has it here.
In the Bay Area, they had Yankin Cook.
All right. Anyway,
It's fucking awesome.
let's move on. Rama in chat over at live.vognetwork.com says Square One TV is my jam. Oh my God! I know we've had our Square.
And where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
Yes.
And Ghost Rider and I don't know. There's a bunch.
Square One TV brought us MathNet. Oh my God!
MathNet
was way better.
MathNet was way better. Anyway, all right. Let's move on. We got to get to the mailbag. So thanks to shows like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and 3-2-1 Contact, you can read and you can write. And so you've sent us emails. At least
True story?
Most of you can.
True story, Rob?
Yes.
I've been able to read since I was 2.
Yeah, I was 2.5. Yeah. Crazy, huh?
My first book that I read, I would probably say actual novel-length book, was Little House in the Big Woods.
I always
when I was 4.
I always look back at what a smart kid I was, and I go, "What happened?"
Video games.
And on that note, let's get to the mailbag. Every week, you guys send us emails. Participate at orangeloungeradio.com if you want to participate at the show. We got a few emails. We have to catch up from a week off, so I know Dark Soccer has a few emails tonight. So let's get to it.
We do. We have a few. The first one is from EA Skeezy. Wiggity, wiggity, what's up, Orange Lounge Radio? Smile. Yep, I'm a huge dork. Your Christopher 10 segment was great, and I downloaded Baba Yato as soon as the show was over. The segment prompted me to send some of the music I've been working on to you. One song is attached. It's free for anybody to listen to use or listen to, so no worries on right to whatever. FYI, I am currently searching for the vocal artists. Think back to high school or early college. What was your first drinking party experience, and what was it like? Tell us some funny stories of the first times you were inebriated. You know they're usually funny. Okay, I'll tell you right now. The first time I was drunk when I was 2 years old.
Wait. Hold on. hold on. Wait, which email is this? Is this the Skeezy one?
Yeah, Skeezy.
Okay, because I have to play the song while we tell our drunk stories. So this is the song that he attached to the email. And I can't... How do I change the volume? Where'd it go?
Fail.
Live radio is really hard. Hold on. We got to start. Hold on. Live radio is really, really hard, you guys. All right. Jamie will tell her story, and then I'll get the song.
All right. Okay, so yeah, I was 2 years old, and my mom's boyfriend got me drunk on a couple of beers. Anyway, that's where the source of my superpowers came from. This is how I found out, though, that I can't get hangovers. Is I was at my friend Michelle's house, and this is we were in Mississippi. Some kind of dumb party. We were just drinking the whole time. I had to have been like 19, 20, something like that. And we were. This is also how I found out that I like to mix really weird things because I want to start tasting the alcohol after a certain point. And you've had my concoctions, Rob. You know how far I'll take it. Mm-hmm. Some of them are really good. So I was just drinking everything. I mean, they put it in front of me. That's also how I found out that I hate Jaeger because I didn't realize it was licorice, and I hate licorice like a lot. But I drank some of everything, and then I realized I found orange juice in the fridge, so I mixed tequila in it. What I didn't know is that the orange juice was screwdrivers. So I took screwdrivers already and added tequila to it and drank 2 whole pint glasses full of it, along with Everclear shots. And, God, I don't remember what else the fuck I had that night. And I woke up the next morning hungry. That's how I found out that I don't get hangovers.
Slow jam starting on this song. I'm going to take Skeezy's song down here a little bit. So I can tell you my story real quick. I'm going to make this quick. First time I ever drank.
One thing, Brad, I'm sorry. It is physically impossible for me to have a hangover. You have no idea. I cannot get a hangover, and I've tried.
That sounds like a challenge, though.
You've seen me.
Yeah, I know. But I also remember you passed out on the bed demanding waffles or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, that was an early OLR episode. Anyway, first time I ever drank was in college, which is where I think a lot of people started, although it was shots of Bacardi 151. Although I only had a few, so I didn't really get drunk. The first time I ever got like super rip-roaring drunk was actually, I was kind of a late bloomer in this regard. The first time I ever got drunk was at the Star Trek experience at the 25th anniversary Rocky Horror Convention. I was with Jessica from Understation Live, and we had a Warp Core breach. We quote-unquote shared a Warp Core breach, but that means Jessica had like 2 sips, and I had the rest of the fishbowl. And I got really, really drunk, and there's a voicemail I left to Travis, because Understation Live was going at the time, and Travis still plays that goddamn voicemail on his show to this day. So, there you go. And no, I'm not playing it for you here. You can go check out Understation Live. Although they're on hiatus right now, but you can check out their old episodes.
And now with that, there's actually a follow-up to this, when Jessica and I went to the Star Trek experience, and we had 2 Warp Core breaches. And these people left their Warp Core breach, and we finished it.
Wow, drinking other people's booze. That's awesome.
Well, no, they're like, we can't finish it. We're like, alcohol's fucking sterile. We'll drink it. They're like, do you guys want the rest of our drink? Yeah, sure, drink. So that's where we developed the pattern of going on the ride sober, drinking a lot, then going on the ride drunk, then going on the ride while you're sobering. And I think we called you at that time. And then we called Travis.
Yep.
And that was... And we also played DDR on that machine.
All right, Skeezy's song has a minute left. So Jason or Loki, you have a inebriation story to share?
If you're a late bloomer, I'm still gestating because I don't have such stories.
Really?
I'll have a drink. But...
E3's coming up. All right.
And I am going to be surrounded by a hell of a lot of people that I do trust my life with, so
Loki, anything quickly you want to share?
I don't know. I've gotten sick on the show before because I got drunk drinking screwdrivers.
Actually, I think Skeezy, you want to go back
Was that the night I was making the screwdrivers?
What episode was it?
No, I was making the screwdrivers.
Oh.
I just kept using the double shot glasses at shot, and so I kept putting too much. I was
impressed.
I probably shouldn't have had that much minestrone before coming to the show. It's very acidic. So.
Well, we have more of the email.
You know how I talk about, OLR was a very, very different show in the earlier days. Maybe Dark Tetsuya can tell you what episode number it was, because Lord knows I forgot. But there's an episode where I got so drunk on air. We're on air, and I'm lying on the ground with the microphone, and I'm kicking the wall. I'm kicking the wall going, I'm in the Matrix. I'm in the Matrix. And this was somehow a radio show that we did. Now,
was that episode 69?
Granted, we haven't improved that much. No, we didn't drink on episode 69, I don't
Some
think.
people did.
Some people did. It was like one of our anniversary shows, I think.
I remember a party over at that apartment where Shane and I were drinking and watching all you guys play Spin the Bottle. And we decided to replace the word drunk with dunk because it was funny.
Yeah.
Shane!
Aim red.
All right.
Back when I used to make super bacon.
Rest of the email.
Okay, rest of the email. So, Once again, love you guys. Keep gaming, keep podcasting, keep caring. That's from EA Skeezy from Wisconsin. We have a few listeners in Wisconsin.
There you go. He just filled like 6 or 7 minutes of the show. We got to keep.
Hi.
Hi.
It's a Swede. We have another Swede.
Sweet.
I'm going to say,
Swede.
because there's not a name on this, I'm going to say Inkblot.
We need more places to crash in Sweden.
Hi! Here's some technical reasons for why the Wii U doesn't have GameCube games as far as I see it. Now, this is an older email, okay?
It was came in the week we were off, but this is what I was referencing earlier, Jason, was this email.
Maybe it will interest you, and I don't have a question, but I think the situation is pretty interesting. Just a cool thing about the Wii U, homebrewers have made GameCube ISOs available on Wii U's Wii section via Devolution on the Homebrew channel. Since Wii and GameCube have the same architecture, the hacker explained it as just showing the GameCube games the hardware that the GameCube had. Just like devoting a portion of the Wii RAM so the memory addresses map the same way as it did on the GameCube. It's not emulation. Really cool stuff. It's the same technique Nintendo used for the 3DS's ambassador program, GBA games. But Nintendo never went forward with this on the 3DS for GBA on Virtual Console, since it runs off the 3DS's DS hardware. And while it's in DS mode, the actual 3DS hardware is shut off. No Street Pass, internet browsing, etc. It's not ideal, and Nintendo wants ideal, so they would want it to run on the 3DS mode hardware, which would require emulation. They've had that problem developing such an emulator, ergo no GBA 3DS VC games. Yeah. It's the same situation on Wii U, so Nintendo probably won't use the Wii U's capability to run GameCube games almost natively. If GameCube comes to Wii U, it will probably be an HD rendering emulator. From a Swede who listens every week, love the show. Thank you, Swede.
I am okay with them doing that HD upresing
They're not.
stuff.
They won't.
Yeah, I
You
know.
know why?
Why?
Because the Wii doesn't upres, so they're not going to fucking do it. Although, if they develop that and they start upresing Wii games, that'd be pretty cool. But they're not. They
Why
won't.
doesn't Nintendo just one-up the homebrew community and take some of these things that they do and sell it? Like, I don't know. All right. Anyway, thank you for the email.
3 words: Japanese corporate culture.
Okay. Dark Tetsuya says, by the way, just so you know, first drunk show was number 29. After that was 33. And after that was number 148, the 3-year anniversary where Loki's story took place. So I'm guessing episode 148 was that show I'm thinking of, which is probably in the OL archive somewhere. You'll have to come ask Dark Tetsuya for it.
One
'cause
of these days,
Lord knows I'm not making that shit.
One of these
putting that
days,
shit
we
out
need to
there.
have like a drunk show marathon block where we just have all the drunk shows playing back to back. That'd be funny.
Love it. All right. Next email.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Hello, my name is Matt, and I'm a new listener to OLR. Hi, Matt.
Hi, Matt.
A friend and I started a gaming podcast about 2 months ago, and I have been listening to other gaming pods for inspiration. I have to say, by a mile, OLR is the best in terms of content I've heard thus far. Keep producing great content, and I'll keep listening. A new listener, Matt. Thank
Get
you,
out.
Matt.
That's it? There's no plug for the show?
No, but let us
Wow.
email us again. Let us know your information, and we will give you El Plugorama.
You know what, though? I'm all for plugging other indie shows. Like, that's not a problem or whatever. But, like, the fact that he didn't do that, like, really makes those words genuine in a way. Like, it's not just, hey, I'm going to kiss your ass so you'll promote my show. Like, it's, like, super genuine. So, thank you. That's... positive words like that go so far in motivating what we do week after week after week. So, thank you so much. You rule.
Yes, you rule like a lot, but yeah, you rule a lot. But send us the stuff, like I said.
Good luck with your show, but you could do a better job promoting it.
We'll plug. Brad,
That's Orange Lounge Radio tip number 1.
Brad, stop it.
I'm giving him a hard time.
Mm-hmm.
All
right. So, hey guys, I'm not a guy. Found this show during the early years of podcasting, tuned into the latest episode at the time, episode 57, one day, and have been laughing ever since. You guys are great. Is there a P.O. box where I can send you a gift? I recently replaced my old microphone, and instead of selling it, I thought of OLR. It's a blue snowball microphone, and it needs a home.
Wow.
I figured what better way to give back to the show that's been with me through the years. If not, then that's cool too. I just wanted to let you guys know to keep up the good work. And that comes from Randy.
I will have to contact this person off air, so don't delete that email and give that address.
I don't ever delete the emails anymore.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Except for the ones that come from marketers that we don't get anymore.
Yeah. So that's awesome. I laughed a little bit there because I know another friend of ours, Cody, said he was going to send some mics. These mics we use right now were donated by Pod Culture, and they work great. But here's my deal. If we get more mics than we can use, which I somehow doubt that will happen because I know one of these mics is already going bad because they just go through a lot of abuse. So I know we can replace. But I promise that we'll pay it forward. So, because I know a lot of podcasters in the Bay Area, well, I don't know a lot, but I know enough in the Bay Area, and they would happily take other mics and things like that. So, I'm all for like paying it forward and all that. So, yeah, I'm curious to see what mic this might be. I'll contact this person off air. Thank you very much for the offer.
I own one of those microphones, as a matter of fact.
Do you? What are they? Are they more hand mics, or is that?
No, it's actually by no means a hand mic because it's literally just a ball. It's a desktop stand mic. It's intended to kind of like be the play setting, and it's not it is cardioid because these are dynamic.
Yeah.
Or I always get it backwards, but it's intended to just be a desk mic that you have there, and it picks up enough of the room that you can just talk and. Yeah, it's not a hand mic at all.
That would be good to have on the kitchen counter for when people come in here screaming things like Shane tried to do earlier.
It would be very good for ambient noise.
Yeah,
actually.
It would be good for that.
Ambient pickups, rather.
That'd be great. You guys rule. You guys don't have to give us anything. Just, as we say at the end of every
Tacos.
show, tell a listener or two about the show. You know, somebody contacted me on Twitter going, how can I send Jamie tacos? You know that I got that mail.
Actually, tacos, I can't really have them too often because I am eating ketogenic because I'm going back to the gym.
Right. I thought you said adopt a kitten instead.
Adopt a kitten. Do that. Adopt a kitten in my name and take care of this kitten and raise her or him with all the love in your heart and also contribute to having strays spayed and neutered.
And it might love you back when it feels like it.
You might see love in the shape of claws to your face. Or Midna's thing lately is crawling up on my side, like when I'm at my computer chair. And like she'll attach with her claws on the side of my chair and then pat me on my shoulder, but sometimes she'll miss and get my armpit. Like, mom, love me. Pet. Okay, I'm done. Bye. She fucks off.
Brad from Pod Culture says that MXL 990 I sent will pick up a cat fart from 3 blocks away. That is true. I tried to use that mic and I was like, okay, this thing is way too sensitive. Like I can't. It's in one of the other boxes in the back room. Just because I was like, I can't use this because we are all loud ass bitches, and this thing is gonna. But I thought I actually was hanging on to it because there's a project in my mind right now where that other room is gonna get turned into my little Twitch lounge. So we'll see. Anyway, ... Moving on.
All right. Well, we have one last email. Dear OLR. You've made a fuck show. You've had a marathon episode. You've definitely had a few drunk shows as well. My question to the host is what will be the next theme or, for lack of a better term, gimmick of the next special episode of OLR whenever that happens? Jason is all the hosts. Sky only allowed to speak with his Kermit the Frog voice. Randomly censoring yourselves with real... Frog. Okay. Randomly censoring yourself with real and or fake fart noises. Your audience demands clarity. Signed, the Nasty Canasta.
Did he say I am all the hosts?
Yes, you take over all of our positions.
Woo! Boy, that's...
I don't even know,
I have the power!
I kind of think that I sound kind of dumb, so I don't know how anyone would imitate me.
I would say...
I hate my own voice.
I would say that for a special theme show, I would say the very last show of OLR will be the next theme show.
That's all, folks.
We do the pot brownie show.
No.
No.
I'm just kidding, by the way. Don't panic.
No.
That's my smart ass answer. The last OLR will
You
be
said
the next
don't
theme
panic.
song.
We could do our Hitchhiker's Guide themed show.
I don't know.
Where we all have towels and toothbrushes.
Theme shows are what we do with Rocky Horror. All right, we'll do the Rocky Horror OLR show.
It was great when it all began.
I was a regular Vogue fan.
Only if Loki agrees to play Frankenfurter.
No. I veto that because, Rob, I have seen you in a corset and you were fabulous.
How do you do, I? See, you've met my fabulous Unity game.
Yeah. I just don't have that much enthusiasm.
I think it'd make a great meatloaf. I mean,
Is he going to die halfway through the show?
yes,
No,
with you using an axe.
That would be Jason. I mean, no offense, Jason, but it would be really funny because he's only here for half of it, and then he comes back as somebody else. That would be it. So
You know, I was Dr. Scott once.
I know.
I flipped off an entire room because I was Dr. Scott.
There you go.
That was great.
The Rocky Horror OLR show. That's my answer.
Okay.
All right.
The Rocky Horror OLR show. That's it.
That's it. At least it's not shock treatment. All right. If you want to.
Oh my God, shock treatment. Watching that, okay, when Evan lived with Jessica, and he made those hacker cookies that like had no doughs cooked into the cookies. Oh,
The OLR baking show.
yes. I can't bake for shit,
The
but
kitchen
yes.
is right there. Oh, Alan hates this idea already.
Well, I remember when I made lobster on the show.
I do. Rock lobster. All right, 9:20, and we're not even at calls yet. Let's get to the FUs of the week. Every week we do some FUs of the week. Why? Because we're mad.
Oh, this is bad. Here is justice. Here is punishment. This is fucked up.
Bless you. I don't know. F you too much stuff. Too many things that I don't have a name for. And apple pie moonshine that I drank a lot of last night. And then I started playing Final Fantasy 14 because I forgot that I had to go to bed.
All right, that it?
Also, F you to how they did the very, 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 very end thing after X-Men Days of Future Past, which I'm not going to spoil it for people who haven't seen it, but fuck how they did that because he doesn't look a damn thing like that.
All right.
Fuck.
All right, Loki.
I guess F you to trying to call these objects without having Unity Pro. Whereas Unity Pro, I just say call these objects. Unity Free, I have to come up with some creative solutions, and it's a pain in the ass.
All right. My FU of the week just goes to the fact that I am like really, really busy this upcoming month between E3 and Disney 3 and Rocky Horror at the end of the month and my birthday and SF Pride and work where I have a lot going on at work right now. Yeah, I'm really busy this month. So if my gaming weeks start to dry up over the next few weeks, just stop. And also, a big FU to the fact that I was trying to be a good boy and I went to the gym first time in forever over the Memorial Day holiday. I was sore for 5 days. I was walking like a rubber man. And I know that's a good thing, like it's your body making the muscle or whatever, but me not being able to walk at work is not a good thing. So FU to the fact that I'm so fat and out of shape. Jason.
Yeah, that makes 3 out of the 4 of us. FU to time. Hey, time, not out of shape. You know, that's technically true for me, too. But I'm feeling good about that, and I am losing weight. Hooray me. But that's not what this segment is for. Yeah, FU to time. I felt strapped for time getting set for this latest trip because I had, 5 things to plan for, and 4 of them have finished at this point. And so the last thing is E3, and then getting the fuck home, and then coming back 3 weeks later. Wish I were joking.
Wah, wah.
Sort of.
All right, there it is, your FUs of the week. Although I do want to mention this from our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com because it didn't come up in the show elsewhere. Blender says FU to Ann B. Davis dying. That is true. Alice from the Brady Bunch, their homemaker or whatever, was died today. Although I'm going to admit, like, I don't want to sound crass or rude, but it was one of those things where when they announced it, I said she wasn't already dead. You know, I just, she was still alive. But unfortunately, when people disappear like that, you know, anyway, but rest in peace. I grew up on the Brady Bunch reruns, as I'm sure a lot of other people did. So, all right. Just a couple quick stories for you guys, and then the Skype line at 1-877-GAME-OLR. It's going to be a quick Skype line tonight because we're running way over. It's almost 9:30 on the West Coast. So, Loki.
All right. So EA has basically come to a settlement agreement with that whole NCAA football and basketball thing where they were basically having the college students in the game but not actually paying for them to be in the game. So it's in the game, except you're not getting paid for it. So now they have to pay almost $1,000 per college athlete in the game. So that's not really much compensation considering that they've made a lot of money in that. But, well, $1,000 per student, I guess.
That is still a bit of money. It's quite the
nothing.
settlement. All right. Lastly, there was a little bit of excitement over not an announcement, but basically a revealed rating, so to speak, on Germany's rating board. It was a rating for a game called Gianna Sisters versus Super Meat Boy, which instantly brought all these thoughts to people's heads like, ooh, there could be a game where like the two of them kind of, because, they're both platforming games. They're both indie. They're both fun. And the thought was that, they maybe are going to do like a mashup type of game. That would be a lot of fun. And so people are running rampant about, is this like an E3 thing or what? But no, it actually isn't. A press release from Head Up Games confirms that what this is, it's just a bundle of Gianna Sisters Twisted Dreams and Super Meat Boy. It's only available in Germany, at least right now, on June 26th. My birthday is when this is coming out. So it is a repackaging of two other great. I mean, they are good games that are worth your time if you somehow haven't already played them, but maybe they were out a little later in Germany. I don't know. So there you go. That does it. So we're going to open up the Skype line to take your calls. It's that time. 1-877-GAME-OLR or our username on Skype, Orange Lounge Radio. If you wish to give us a call, we will set that up. I got to make sure that the calls can actually come through tonight. So we'll set that up. Okay, so 1-877-GAME-OLR or our username on Skype, Orange Lounge Radio, if you want to give us a call. Meanwhile, last-minute stories, if we have any. Loki?
Nope.
I do have one that flew under the radar last week. There was an announcement that Samsung and Oculus VR are entering a partnership. The quick version is that Oculus gives Samsung early access to its mobile software development kit and helps develop user interface software, while Samsung gives Oculus early access to its next-gen OLED screens because Samsung is joining the race without having to do the hard work.
All right. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're on Orange Lounge Radio. Who's this?
Hey, it's Ron. How's everyone doing tonight?
Of course it is, Rama. How you doing, Rama? We're good. And sorry we weren't here last week for you to call first.
It's quite all right. I found myself doing other things like, catching up with stuff on the DVR. It's been sitting on my DVR since summer of 2013.
I figured that's what a lot of people were making out of the holidays. So what's up?
Not much. I want to talk about something slightly different, and I'll be on my merry little way.
Okay.
The rhythm games. Let's talk about that.
Of course.
I recently stumbled upon a game for Android, which is also available for iOS, called Love Live School Idol Project.
Okay.
Also known as, you can get it in the U.S. on the download stores as Idol Project. Pretty much, you are a manager of an idol group, and people ask to join, and you train with them. Now, you train with them with the music, and what it is all of the members of the band, which I believe is about 9 of them, and these circles come down from the center, and you just tap the screen, for perfect timing. It's sort of like the timing play, sort of similar to the Sega musical games like K-On! And Project Diva.
Right, Hatsune Miku, sure.
It's pretty fun, and as you play the songs, you go back into the story mode, you discover more characters, more people that want to join, and then you go back into the game mode, and you play the songs again to increase your combination, earn points, and raise the idol's levels. And you can do special practices where, as you collect members of your team, they're like trading cards. You can merge the cards together and get a better character and train off of that. It's kind of fun.
Now, Akuma JP in chat says Idol Master, and yeah, that does kind of sound like what you're describing here is kind of like a iOS version of that, probably like a knockoff in a way.
Something like that, but it is actually based off the anime Love Live School Idol Project.
Got it.
It's kind of might be from the same people, but I do know what's kind of interesting is that one of the companies that's behind this is ASCII Media, the same company that had ASCIIware, same company that made those awesome ASCII sticks back in the day.
Wow. Interesting how far these companies have come. It's so interesting to see like who all's gone mobile, because the answer is like everybody except like Nintendo, and even Nintendo's finally going to do what, Miiverse or something. So, ooh, I wonder if that'll happen during E3. Anyway, okay, well that's cool. So you enjoy the game? Is it worth it? How much is it?
It's free.
Really? Oh, so they must make the money off some of the cards and these other enhancements,
Yeah,
right?
it's like buying gems and other items to raise your characters. But to be perfectly honest, you really don't need to do any in-app purchases.
Well, that's
just
good.
Just play the game through.
How's the music in it, though?
It's very cute. It's very anime J-poppy, which is kind of a given.
Of course. All right. Well, thank you for the review and introducing some of our listeners to that. I might have to check that out myself.
You should, because there's like 3-4 of us on Facebook that are playing. We've already traded our friend IDs, so we're trying to help each other out as we're playing through the game. So you should join us.
All right. One more time, the name?
The name of the anime is called Love Life School Idol Project, but you can find it on iTunes Store and Google Play as Idol Project or School Project.
All right. Idol Project. I'll look for that. You got it.
If not, just find a School Project, and if I have to, I will post a link to where you can get it for whatever version of the mobile system that you have.
I'm trying to look at it. I have my handy-dandy little iPhone.
See, it might be under a school project.
I'm looking right now. I did a search for School Project, and
If it's not there, look up School Idol Festival.
Shit, I was in the music store. Ugh. I hate how there's the two separate stores. I mean, I get why they do it, but okay, so School
Idol
Project.
Festival.
This is great radio. But hey, free game, y'all. Schools of Chaos. School Idol Festival? That's not it, right?
It.
Oh, that's it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. School Idol Festival. Got it.
Yeah, they had to change the name because the actual anime series has not been licensed here just yet all the way, so you know.
Sounds good. I imagine you guys talked a lot about this on Anime Jam Session?
Actually, no, because I started playing this like a few days ago on occasion, but I may have to bring it up because it is fun, and I've noticed a few of my friends, one of the reasons why they're upgrading their Androids is so they can have something powerful enough so they can play this game.
Love it. All right, Rama, any other thoughts before we let you go?
No, that's it, but I left you a message because I have some stuff to send you.
Okay, I'm a little behind. Oh, I just see my little red. Okay, you got it. I will send that right away.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, bro.
Bye.
Bye.
I love how people use the Skype line. Hey, check your private messages. Sorry, I'm trying to do a show. Live radio is kind of hard. You know, it's a little bit difficult.
You said it was hard.
Shush. 1-877-GAME-OLR, our username on Skype, Orange Lounge Radio. Any other last minute stories, Jason? All right.
Who is going to use a VR headset for a mobile phone?
The same people who buy the 3DS version of Skylanders. Like, why would you haul around that big portal and things everywhere? I don't understand.
You don't.
You don't?
No, you don't.
I thought you had to.
You load your characters. It has like so many slots of characters you can store. So you put a few characters in there. You swap between them.
All right, well, that makes a little more sense.
The Oculus thing with the phone it's for stuff we haven't thought of yet, or stuff they haven't thought of yet as far as using Oculus Rift.
But when you can't see the phone, like there's no, you need another sensor to know where the hell your hand
Yeah, but what if you're able to interact with it like you can with like Google Glass or something like that?
There's currently
Granted-
no input mechanism in the Oculus currently, and that's your whole point.
Okay, one more. I'm going to put one more call out for the Skype line. 1-877-GAME-OLR. Your username on Skype, Orange Lounge Radio. I know Dark Sakura's leaving the studio because we're running a little long. She's got other things she's got to get to. But final thoughts for our listeners tonight.
Ow.
Ow.
Yeah, I'm going to take medication when I get home.
All right, if you need a Band-Aid, we might have those too. All right.
I don't know if you can put a Band-Aid on my brain, but that
Ow.
might.
Feel better.
Tomorrow's a work day, alas.
Yeah, no more 3-day weekends. I miss those. All right, it looks like we do have at least one more call coming in, so let's get to it. Have a great night, Dark Sakura. We'll see you next week for our Previl E3 special.
The Previl show.
All right, let's get to it. Hi, you're on Orange Lounge Radio. Who's this?
Hey, it's Blenderman.
Hey, Blender. Long time no talk. How you doing?
All right, man. I actually moved out to Nashville, Tennessee, so
Nashville?
I'm not in California anymore.
I was in Nashville when I was 17 years old for one whole day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Fun?
I imagine it's changed a lot. We went to Graceland and signed. I remember writing something on the wall where all those messages were to Elvis, and that's all I remember. And Shoney's.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
So what's up, buddy?
No, I was telling you, well, you know the situation. You know I've talked about it. You guys, I was a home caregiver for my grandparents for 12 years.
Right.
And unfortunately, they passed away last month. And I actually passed through Salt Lake City a couple days before I left.
Right.
And they had the Salt Lake City Comic Con, and I went through there.
Oh, how was that?
That was freaking awesome, man. They had everybody there.
Yeah.
I had a couple friends that actually were running the thing, and they had over 100,000 people showed up for that weekend.
Holy moly!
But yeah, it's the third biggest Comic-Con in the country right now.
Is it really? You know, I am, and I'm not surprised to hear that, because like there's a part of you that kind of goes, or of me anyway, that kind of goes, well, what the hell is there in Salt Lake City? Like, who knew there were that many people? But at the same time, like, you know, there's a lot of very small, remote areas just for hundreds of miles. Like, Salt Lake City really is the biggest city for hundreds of miles in any direction. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
Salt Lake City's huge.
Like, when I think about
I went in there on a whim. I was just like, well, because I knew the guys, because I listened to you guys, and I listened to the guys who used the podcast back in 2010.
Right.
And their first year was like 10,000 people showed up. And then, boom, 2014, they had 100,000 people showed up.
Wow.
And I walked in the front door, and there's like a line. I'm like, who's this? Line for it. And Nathan Fillion. Right there. Just walked in.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it was a huge turnout. And they're having another one in September. I'm not plugging anything, but I'm just saying, as like, you know, the thing that I found about it was it's like the middle of the country, so you don't have to go.
Yeah.
Well, not middle, but you know, if you're on the East Coast and you want to go.
You know, for the right
you don't
convention,
have to travel all the way to Anaheim.
For the right convention, there's always time for travel, because I go to Atlanta for Dragon Con. I had a blast last year, and I already got my ticket for this year. So it's awesome to hear that you had a good time at the convention. I'm sorry to hear about the circumstance that kind of had you moving from one coast to the other, but you know. But now that you're back in, or now that you're in Nashville, have you been doing any gaming? Is there any games that you're into? I know you were.
You know, I'm getting into a lot of board gaming, man. I got a 6-year-old nephew, and so I'm getting him all these little board gaming. You know, just because he's into baseball, and you know, I'm trying to teach him a little bit more about strategic stuff. You know, and so he's learning a lot more about. You know, and just sit down on the table and just let's think about what we're doing here.
I don't think we give board games enough credit here on OLR, and that, you know, we don't talk about them enough. And they board games are awesome. Like, who doesn't enjoy a good board game night? Like, what a fun way to hang out with friends. And I've been introduced to a lot of like fun ones lately. Like I like well, this isn't really a board game, but a Dominion was one that Extrovert's partner introduced me to that I had a lot of fun with. That it's more of a card game, I suppose, but that's a lot of fun. And what's one board game we here at OLR ought to check out?
I'll tell you what. You know what the best thing, and it's something you guys can sit down and play while you're doing a show. It's called Zombie Dice, and you can buy it at Target for like $10. I think.
I've heard of this. Somebody showed this to me once. Tell it quickly, because I gotta wrap up here soon for time. But quickly, what is Zombie Dice?
Well, it's just like a bar dice game, like Liar's Dice or whatever. Mm-hmm. But you know, you just roll your dice, and you're apparently the zombie, and you either roll a brain, a shotgun, or feet, and whoever gets scored a 13 wins the game. And the cool thing about it is, like, my sister had to do some laundry at the laundromat the other day, and me and my nephew sat at the laundromat and rolled out the zombie dice and started playing right there.
And everybody else is like, what the heck are these people doing? But we're just having fun down at the laundromat.
Game.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. All right. Well, Blender Buddy, it's so good to hear from you. Always love to hear, listeners that would call in a few years ago and then have kind of moved on to whatever and then come on back to the show.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad to hear from you. But I hope everything's treating you well in Nashville. And thank you for reminding us how amazing board games are.
All right. Take care, buddy.
All right. Take care, buddy. Bye-bye. Some folks in chat. We see a few people in our chat room here. Like we have Kaijudo saying board games for the win. Akuma JP says board game is fun if you have friends to play with. Justin says a big fan of Love Letter. It's a super quick card game based on bluffing. Also in that vein, Coup is another great bluffing card game. And Black Wolf says King of Tokyo is awesome. So it sounds like a lot of these games I'm going to have to play over at Dragon Con and so forth. So anyway, that is going to do it for the Skype line tonight. I'm sadly going to close things up because we're really long tonight and we got to wrap up. We already had a host bail on us. So, but we had to make up for lost time a little bit. So thank you guys for staying up late with us. And thank you guys for supporting the show and listening, and glad you're back after a week off. And let's get ready because it's going to be a heck of a month between E3 and our 12th birthday. Going to have a lot of fun. You ready, Jason?
Yeah.
It'll be fun. All right. For now, let's go around and get everybody's final thoughts as we wrap things up. I do want to say really quick, though, of course, if you do like what you've heard here at OLR, don't forget, support the show by just telling a friend or two. I mean, the offers of gifts and things are really nice. And I mean, but I don't want your money. I know it seems like a weird thing to say, but I just, I want your love. Tell a friend or two about the show. Help spread the word about Orange Lounge Radio. And that's all we really ask here at OLR. Just help our family grow a little bit with like-minded individuals that are not jerks when it comes to video games, that are there for the fun. Leave a nice word on iTunes. Stitcher Radio really helps too. And anywhere, wherever you heard about this podcast, there's probably a bunch of other people waiting to hear about some new podcasts, and we'll hope they'll check us out. Jason, thank you for being here as you have been for the past few weeks. We'll see you again next week.
Always. You absolutely will, because
that's right.
Our fun starts 12 hours after the show finishes.
And we got to get in the car early too, because we got to be in LA by no later 3 or 4.
Yep.
So because the Sony thing is I think it's 6 o'clock or something. Yep. So lots of stuff going on that day. So we're gonna have a busy week next week. Final thoughts for our listeners.
I really need to start writing things down, because I remember having a thought either today or yesterday about a perfect ending. Yep, don't remember it. Write shit down. Helps you remember. Like get a voice recorder. Just record yourself. Come on.
All right. My final thought for the night is it's almost 10 o'clock. Do I still go to the gym? Yes or no? Yes, Shane's nodding yes. We'll see. I got to get up at 6:30 in the morning. We'll see. All right. Last but not least, Loki, your final thought tonight.
I have to go to work tomorrow.
Oh, my gosh. You got to work like the rest of us again. Well, you've been working from home, though. And you're a full-time dad. That's a job.
Yeah, it's actually it's easier now. Well, except Thursday I have to watch him again because our babysitter, she's going to the doctor in San Jose. Who the fuck has a doctor 3 hours fucking away?
I hope she's okay. It's usually a specialist of some sort.
I think it's fine.
All right.
Anyways, it's just whatever. So yeah, everybody I'm sure will be glad that I'm back, including all my annoying customers. And now I have to talk to on the phone. Before I could just email them, sorry, I can't call you. I'm on a cell phone, have limited minutes. I can't talk to you, and I got to talk to them.
No escaping work now. All right. Thank you guys again for downloading the show and tuning in. We'll see you next week here on OLR. It is episode 555, our pre-E3 show. It's going to be a busy week next week, so we will see you then. Have a great night, everybody.
You've been listening to Orange Lounge Radio. Orange Lounge Radio is a production of OLR Studios. To join us for a live show, tune into VogNetwork.com Sunday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. The views and opinions expressed in this program do not necessarily reflect those of the staff of Orange Lounge Radio or Vog Network, but they were all still true. See you next week.